today we're going to talk about the Summer Game Fest showcase, and we're going to talk about Diablo, Street Fighter 6, and then we're going to make our predictions for the Xbox showcase. I am your host, Sebastian, and once again I'm joined by Dory and James. Mitch is not going to be here today. So I want to jump right into the Summer Game Fest showcase, which I think we all thought was a solid show. I didn't think it wasn't anything crazy good, but we had a good time watching it together, James and I. I want to start. I'm not going to go in order because it's a little long when you do that. So what I want to do is I want to hit on the big games first, the big stuff first. So I want to talk about Spider-Man 2 getting a release date on October 20th, which is insane, right? Like I did not expect to see that at the showcase.
Right. So they showed it off at the PlayStation showcase. Obviously, it was like the big, it was like the title, the thing. It was the hook for that entire show.
Yeah.
Right. and right. So like yeah, I mean, I think everyone thought that was it. We'd seen it, you know. So like we didn't expect it to show up here again, and then it did, and it was the release date, which October 20th, is I think Seb, you were saying when we were watching it, like, what, that's like a week after Alan Wake 2?
It's like 3 days after.
3 days after Alan Wake 2, right?
That's
or before.
That's like less than a week after Kim and I get married. That's wild to think about.
Well, you play Spider-Man on your honeymoon.
Yeah, no, apparently. I'm gonna go to Vermont, lock myself in a cabin, and I'm just gonna play Spider-Man 2. Sorry, Kim.
That's your wedding present, sorry.
That's right. Kim, that better be my wedding present, Spider-Man 2.
Put the game case on the cake.
Yeah. Put the game case right on the cake, that's right. Pre-order it. Get it a week early. Yeah, no, I was super fucking hyped. I'm so excited to play this. October feels so long away, but I know, the time will just go by like that. The gameplay, everything that they had to say at the showcase got me even more excited than I already was. I love I think it was subtle before, but they made it a little more obvious with a little wink and a nod, but the be greater together with the Venom thing going through the symbiote stuff going through it. I think it's very much a wink and a nod to, us together, the whole the way that Eddie Brock or Peter talks about it. And speaking of Eddie Brock, very interesting that they said that Eddie Brock is not going to be Venom. Now that's not unprecedented in the comics, and movies and TV. Other people have been Venom besides Eddie Brock. Flash Gordon, I think, or maybe not Flash Gordon. I can't remember. Flash has been been Venom. Flash Thompson, thank you. Flash Thompson has been Venom in some of the comics when he's hired by the government. And he's the one that comes most to mind. Obviously, Peter has been a version of Venom. There have also been weird symbiote mashups in the comics with various characters getting the symbiote and then turning into a weird version of Venom. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Well, Flash is anti-Venom, I think, right? He's like the soldier Venom or something like that.
Yes, he's soldier Venom. Yeah. And then I wouldn't be surprised if, number one, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a lie. I wouldn't be surprised if they're just pulling an Arkham Knight where they're like, oh, no, that's not Jason Todd. And it was Jason Todd. But to be fair, we haven't seen a ton of Eddie Brock. He's been Easter egg mentioned a couple times, but we haven't been introduced to him as a character. So to introduce him in one game and then pull the Venom thing in the same, I'm not saying that'd be impossible, especially not for the great writers at Insomniac. But it does feel like a lot. It feels like it would be easier to work with a character either we've already seen, like Harry or Norman.
Well, that's what I think.
Or maybe Kraven, because Kraven does get the symbiote suit in Kraven's Last Hunt.
It's possible. My thought process is that it's Harry, because at the end of the first game, Norman goes downstairs like a basement, and his son's in a container or something, and I'm pretty sure the story's leading up to Harry being Venom.
And that makes sense as well, because I know there's I feel like there's some complaints about the idea of Harry being Venom, because I think people don't like that for some reason. But
'Cause people want Eddie, I
um,
think that's why.
yeah, but I think it would
Yeah.
be. I think they'd be more willing to go the way of Harry. I think if they're gonna do what I
Yeah.
think they're gonna do, which is have Venom kind of be the big bad for like the first third of the game or something, and then have the Spider-Man beat Venom, and then the symbiote transfers to Peter, and that's when we see the gameplay that we saw at the PlayStation showcase.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think I could see Venom definitely being like the first, third villain. Like I think Craven's set. I think they're setting Craven up to be the main antagonist of the whole game. So I could definitely see Venom being like in the first, third, and also, I think you can do a lot of cool story elements with like Harry. Like you can do like flashback sequences where where Peter and they show Peter and Harry's like relationship. Like near
I
the
think
games you have
also-
the walk and talk sections.
I think also in the Ultimate Comics that Harry is Venom, but I could be wrong about that. I thought I remember him in the Ultimate Spider-Man game being Venom back in the mid 2000s. But I don't know. I could be misremembering. I remember it being different, obviously, in Ultimate Spider-Man who Venom is, and it's not Eddie Brock.
I feel
But
like,
yeah.
I think he was Venom. Yeah. In the Ultimate
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
I think I remember that. So I think it's been done before. So that would mean that Harry wouldn't be an original pick.
Harry was.
But I don't know.
anti-Venom,
Again, they could just be lying. What's that?
I think he. I'm looking at it. Harry was also anti-Venom, which anti-Venom's the white and black Venom. Like,
Right.
like, he's mostly
Man,
white.
yeah, it looks really cool.
Right. I think that's pretty much it, right? Spider-Man. We didn't get like a. It's pretty much all we got. Release date and Venom.
Release date
Yeah, we
and
didn't get anything new.
They're going up. The different editions of the game are going up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
forever.
So the collector's edition looks really cool with the statue of Venom with.
Yeah, that looks
Miles
cool.
and
I won't
Spidey.
buy it, but it looks cool.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy it. It's like $250 or something. But
I very rarely get any of those. Like, I mean, I'm like a Kingdom Hearts stan. I still probably, if they had a collector's edition that was a couple hundred, I still probably wouldn't get it. I mean, unless you get like a replica Keyblade. But even then, I don't know.
Yeah, like you look.
Yeah, I mean,
Go on.
I usually buy these. I mean, I've got the first one.
Nice.
And I would
Yeah,
have
that's
bought this
sick.
one, but it's a little on the heavy side in terms of the price.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is like
it's fair.
£220, $230.
I have,
Yeah.
I have Spider-Man and Carnage behind me on the top of my shelf, and so Venom would fit perfectly, but yeah, not for that price.
Yeah. Also, the fact that like, it comes with a digital version of the game, which I know is what all the
Standard
PlayStation games
Yeah.
do now. But I still hate that because like they're giving you a steelbook. I mean, why not just give you a physical copy of the game? It doesn't. Maybe they don't want people trading in the game and buying just the collector's edition. I don't know. Like selling the game on. I don't know. But it's yeah.
All right.
It looks nice. But,
It does.
you
It
know.
does. All right. So the next big game that was at the show was Alan Wake 2, which is getting a lot of hype. We got like a whole interview on stage, and then they showed gameplay, which looked like mostly gameplay from the PlayStation showcase for the most part. We're following the new character, the lady. I don't know her name, but
I believe it's Saga.
Saga. Okay. Now it looks really good, like the graphics and everything. It looks like a huge step up from the first game. Obviously, the first game's old, but it reminded me there. I feel like they changed the camera angle because it looks more like Resident Evil 2 remake in comparison to the first game.
I definitely got big RE2 remake vibes when I saw that gameplay.
or
It looks
4.
a lot like it, or 4, sure.
Yeah, and which is cool. I mean, I could still tell it was Alan Wake because the animation of like the dodge animation still looked exactly the same, and the whole flashlight mechanic. But yeah, it looks really good. I mean, like I said, we're in the survival horror renaissance right now. I mean, Alan Wake and then Alone in the Dark are like in the same week of each other, alone, and we already had Resident Evil 4 and Dead Space, so it's been an incredible year for horror games. I'm really excited for this game. I do understand why people are boycotting this game, since it's digital only, and people are upset that they can't get a physical version. But I was gonna buy it digital anyway, so it's not really a problem for me.
Yeah, I mean, if it gets good reviews, I only buy digital at this point.
Yeah.
Very rarely do I get anything physical, so I don't really understand the complaint with that, but I get it. Like if it's not convenient for people, but
Yeah.
I just see digital as the way to go personally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big collector, and also the fact that I know people think like if you buy digital, like if the system ever goes down, you lose all your games and stuff like that. But the chances of that ever happening is like almost impossible. So I don't think Sony's ever just gonna go bankrupt and take away all your games. And even then, for the most part, these kind of games, I play them, beat them, and then move on. So I don't think I'd lose sleep.
Yeah, I mean, I think game preservation is very important,
I do too,
and
but-
companies unfortunately don't do enough to preserve their histories and stuff like that. Especially Nintendo's really bad at that.
Yeah.
But I think that there is a difference between trying to preserve history and trying to, like, I don't know, be overly cautious about it, I guess I'd have to say. I definitely understand the concern, but like you said, I don't think Sony's going bankrupt, and even if they did, I sincerely doubt that their video games would just disappear. Plenty of people have physical copies of things, so yeah, I just don't see that personally. But for me, digital, and I'm only going to buy it anyway if it gets good reviews. I was not a fan of the first Alan Wake, but I also know it has been a long time, and I did enjoy Control, so I'm willing to give this a shot.
I think you're probably looking at something a bit closer to Control in terms of their current output. But they're obviously, because Summer Game Fest, right? It's not just a showcase. There's kind of an E3 show floor style setup where the press can go and get demos and see gameplay footage of the game after the showcase. And so this is from Andy Robinson on Twitter. Just saw roughly 45 minutes of Alan Wake 2. Imagine a Resident Evil detective game. Slower paced, less focus on blasting armies of enemies. There's even a mind palace players can switch to at any time to piece together clues and profile enemies. So, a bit more information.
Like Control.
That wasn't.
That sounds like Control.
Yeah, it does, a little bit.
Which is, they're connected. They're in the same universe.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they're kind of leaning into that
Yeah.
a little bit.
Don't be surprised if you see some Control references or even like a cameo or something, because Alan Wake's is in Control. So.
Yeah.
Although I don't want to. We're not gonna talk spoilers because you haven't beat the first game yet, and also I barely remember. Like I have a faint idea of what happened
I think I got about halfway through the game before I finally quit and got frustrated with it. But yeah, I'm definitely expecting something closer to Control, which I really enjoyed. And I'm hoping it's a good game because I want to play it. I love survival horror. Doesn't always hit for me, but I love a lot of survival horror. And I love detective stuff. I love the meta writing pompous shit. I love that stuff. So I'm all into it. So it's definitely a survival horror game with a lot of meta contextual stuff going on, which is right up my alley. Yeah, hoping for great things for it, and I'm definitely going to be watching reviews closely.
Plus, I think even if that section doesn't have a lot of action, Alan Wake has a lot of action. I mean, you drive a car, run people over.
Yeah.
You're shooting things a lot. There's a lot of dodging and fighting, so it's still, it's not Resident Evil 4, but it definitely is not just like walking around and investigating. All right.
I could see them changing it for this one though.
Sure.
But the nice thing is, and I will try and play the first one before this comes out. But the nice thing is, they've said that you don't need to. They've kind of built it in a way where, if you play as the new character, she kind of acts as like a bridge for new players, to kind of unravel the story of the first game and that kind of thing.
Yeah, they did say this game is accessible for new players because the first game's very old, so they don't expect everybody to play the first game. So
I love that he literally said something like, "You don't need to do any. We didn't want players to do any homework or something for this one."
And they had the actor of Max Payne on stage, which was cool. All right, because they're doing the remakes. All right, next game I want to talk about is Lies of P, which I'm excited about. I played the demo. I didn't beat it. I got to the last boss, and I feel like I had to grind to beat the boss, and I was like, you know what? I don't really feel like grinding in a demo. But that demo was long. Like that thing was like 3 hours long, And yeah, it was. If you like Bloodborne, I think you'll really like this game. If you do not like Bloodborne, I would avoid this game. It's. I'm not saying it's just like a ripoff of Bloodborne, but like, even to the point where like the locations are very gothic looking, like Bloodborne, but also the fact like the way you open the door animations, the slow like push, looks like Bloodborne. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty. I wouldn't say it's incredible. The gameplay that I played, it's mostly good. I would say the dodging feels off, like the timing, just something off about it, and the parrying can be a little better. I had a really hard time parrying in this game. Like I felt like I was hitting the button at the correct time, and it was just not clicking with me.
I actually didn't have that issue.
Really? It wasn't working with me. But I think the biggest problem was this, like the arm mechanic was pretty. It just wasn't that great. Like it was pretty useless. Like especially the first one. When you got the grappling one, that one was a lot better. But the first one was just like, I just didn't really do much for me. But what I love about this game is the customization. You can combine the weapons together and stuff. You can do all types of different things. You can get a bunch of outfits. Even in the beginning, like in the demo, you get like 3 different outfits, and you get a donkey head and stuff like that. That's pretty funny. Yeah. James, you played the demo or did you beat it?
So I didn't beat the demo. So what I did was I played I beat the first boss. You know, the one where after you beat him, the title card comes up.
Yeah.
And then I stopped. Because that seemed like a good stopping point. I feel like that's where they should have stopped the demo.
I agree. I thought I was done. I was like, what the hell? Yeah. Playing the whole game?
So I didn't play any further than that. Because I'm sold, honestly. This I was really excited to talk about this because Dory, did you play it, the demo?
No, it's not really for me.
She doesn't play Souls games. She doesn't like that.
Right. But yeah, so I didn't have too high expectations because a lot of these Souls like games that are made by developers that are not FromSoft, they can be hit or miss. And they usually feel clunky, or like there's a learning curve that is different. But this one is so close to feeling like a FromSoft game that I would be honestly calling it cheap if it wasn't so damn well made.
Like it feels high quality. It feels like a AAA game.
It's incredibly clean and polished and tight and everything. It has the level of polish and like the level of attention to detail in terms of just like the gameplay mechanics and how everything like is put together. Like it has the same level of that stuff as any game from Software, and like just on that part of the demo alone, like I'm really excited to jump into the full game and play more. Like you say, it gets a little more grindy after that first boss, so maybe it goes downhill a little bit.
They're always like that, though. That's just how those games are.
So, but I'm really excited for the full game because, what I played in that demo it blew me away, honestly.
Yeah, like I had some problems with it, but for the most part, I thought it was very good. I always plan on buying it, and I'm definitely gonna buy it for sure now. Visuals are great. I love the whole like steampunk look. Yeah, mixed with
the other thing,
gothicism. So.
The other thing that I love about it, right, is I have come to appreciate the storytelling in FromSoft games, like the lore and everything, and like the world building. I think the world of Elden Ring is really cool, and the Dark Souls games, and the Bloodborne. I haven't played a lot of Bloodborne, but I enjoy the lore and everything of that. But the whole idea, as stupid as it sounds, to have like this dark twist on Pinocchio, it actually works incredibly well. Like the idea, it fits so well. The idea of these puppets that have come back to life and are attacking you and stuff, and like all the different like elements of Pinocchio that have kind of been morphed to fit into this mold of a Soulsborne game.
I mean,
And
it
really
helps that
works.
Pinocchio itself is such a dark tale to begin with. I mean, I know Pinocchio's been Disneyfied a lot over the years, but I mean, even that live action movie that came out or the Del Toro stuff, I mean, there is a lot of dark stuff in the tale of Pinocchio. So I'm not surprised,
Even the
honestly.
Disney one's very dark. I mean,
Yeah.
all the boys turn into donkeys, and the way they felt, the way that not choreography, the filmography, no choreography, no cinematography of that scene is very scary. Like the Disney one, I mean, the way they film it when the kids turn into donkeys, like it's pretty dark, and like people like get killed and stuff. So Pinocchio's always been very dark.
Right. Yeah. But like it translates so well into
It
this.
does. I like the
Um,
idea of like the blue fairy being like, every Souls game has to have a hub, and then you go to the hub, and there's like that one lady that like upgrades your
Yeah.
skills. I like the idea of the blue fairy being that, and having a little hub mansion section. So yeah,
Yeah.
it translates really well. I didn't see what's his name? What's the cricket's name?
Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, Jiminy. I didn't see him. Like,
He was the
was he the narrator or something like that?
no, he was like the light that you pick up, the lamp kind of thing you pick up at the very start.
Oh
I think
yeah.
that's supposed to be him
Oh, he's in
because he's like a guiding light kind of thing.
Oh, okay. I know there was
And
like
that's
someone
like
talking to you, so I guess that was him.
I think the person talking to you was the woman with the blue hair at the hub.
No, I mean like when you're walking, like I guess maybe it was further on, but like when you're walking through like a section, there was someone talking to you. I feel like that was Jiminy, I
Right,
guess.
Maybe I don't know, but anyway, it's
Now there was a boss fight where a guy had a giant donkey head on his head, and he kicked my ass for a while. I just might have not been in the mood for a Souls game at the time, so I'll probably do a lot
Yeah.
better when I actually grind and stuff.
was that a bit further on,
Yeah.
right?
There's a whole.
How many like bosses were there
Th-
after that first one?
There's three.
Right, Jesus, that's a big demo.
Yeah, right. That's why I said there's like 3 hours. I put like 2 hours in it, I would say. I just felt like I didn't see the point of like why why am I grinding a demo? So unless it carried over or something, then maybe I'll stick with it. But
Yeah. But that's exactly why I stopped when I did.
yeah, because there was a whole section like after that part, like when you got to the mansion and everything, right?
Yeah, I got to the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after the hotel, you go to like a whole other section, and it's like there's a lot of sections where like it's on a roof, and you have to climb ladders and stuff, and you can get kicked off and things like that. That part was hard. And then you fight like this donkey guy on a bridge, and then after him, there's another section that's like shorter, and then there's like a giant robot that has like lightning powers, and you can actually summon like an NPC to help you. But the NPC is pretty useless and weak, so it didn't really help me that much.
Cannon fodder. Yeah.
And I was just having a hard time with that boss, just because I feel like I had to grind a little more, and I was just like, just wasn't in the mood to beat the demo. Wouldn't get anything out of beating it. I got my fill for the game. I'm already sold, so
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's.
Definitely excited for that one.
Me too. Let's move on to Mortal Kombat 1, which I probably have the most to say because I like fighting games.
Excellent.
I really like the idea of going back to the original game. It's a reboot. Liu Kang became a god, and he's reset the timeline, so we're back to Mortal Kombat 1. So I like seeing everybody in their like classic '90s skin, like just seeing Jax with regular arms again, and everybody looking like they're from the '90s. And I like the idea of Van Damme playing Johnny Cage.
That was definitely the coolest part of that announcement.
Yeah, even though he was in Street Fighter, not Mortal Kombat, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, it looks really good. I think the storyline's gonna be fun. I really like the campaign of these games. The story is not like mind blowing or anything, but they're entertaining. It looks like the combat has a tag system now where you hit a button and then like you can have another person come in and do a combo with you, and then they tag out, which a lot of modern fighters have been doing recently. So that was a new mechanic. But other than that, it looks pretty much the typical Mortal Kombat style or Injustice style. It looks good. I don't have a lot to say. I mean, the trailer was very gory, so they could never make these showcases accessible to families. That's for sure.
Yeah, they had to put a warning at the front of the showcase
Yeah.
for this game specifically.
They did not try to censor anything. They just went all out.
But you can't censor Mortal Kombat because
I
the
agree.
whole screen would have to be blurred out constantly. So.
Imagine it was like
I mean,
just
they
10
tried
minutes
in the
of blur.
80s and 90s, remember? They tried in the 80s and 90s, and watch what happened. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what was it the Nintendo version sold the most because it had the uncensored version, or was that Sega?
I think it was probably the Sega one.
Yeah.
Almost certainly the Sega one.
Was it Sega, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, that's pretty much it for Mortal Kombat. I'm excited to play it. That's a day one for me. Let's talk.
You're excited.
Yeah, let's talk about Like a Dragon Gaiden, which I'm excited about.
This was hype.
Yeah, like Kiru's his story is pretty much over after 6, but now I guess and then something happens to Like a Dragon. I'm not gonna say what, but I guess they're pulling him out of retirement again. This man never gets to chill. He's always
Just let my man eat some fucking sushi and just let him rest. My God.
Yeah, like I'm playing Yakuza 3 right now, and he's like chilling with in the orphanage, and he's getting dragged into more Yakuza drama. So he just never gets a chance.
I mean, on the other hand, that gameplay looks fucking good. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is worth all the personal turmoil and trauma he's gonna go through. I don't know.
Yeah,
like you know what the gameplay at this point is the least interesting thing about these games to me. Like I just love the whole vibes of the trailer, like of the story, and like you got the guy sitting up on top of that building, like with all the guys around him and stuff, like
in the big city and
drug
the
lord
lights and
or whatever
everything.
I love the story and characters. Don't get me wrong. It's just that the focus of the trailer was definitely the gameplay, and that looked so good. I don't think we've gotten. I mean, obviously we've gotten the Judgment games, but I don't think we've gotten a mainline Yakuza games on the PS4 or 5, I want to say, unless the remasters count unless Yakuza 6 was on the PS4.
Yes, it was.
6 was on the PS4.
Yeah. Every Yakuza game's on the 4 now.
Okay, well, I know. I mean, originally released on the PS4 or as a remaster. I couldn't remember.
I believe 6 was released on the PS4 originally.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, 6 is the only one that was originally for the 4, and if you include Judgment and Judgment 2 and Like a Dragon PS4 versions.
So there's some precedent for it, but at least on the PS5 we haven't gotten anything. And I mean, the animations look crisp, the movement looks good. I mean, yeah, obviously, I'm super hyped because I love Kiryu. I've only played Kiwami 1 and I've tried 2, but I haven't gotten to 2. I think I played Kiwami 1 and then I haven't done Kiwami 2 yet.
It's so accessible because both services have all the games. So
actually, no, I've only played Yakuza 0, but I mean to play Kiwami 1 and 2, and I haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, I love 0 a lot.
Yeah, like I said, I'm playing 3 and I have 4 and 5 and 6 downloaded, so I'm gonna play through the whole series by the time this game comes out. So because I've beaten everything except for 3, 4, and 5 and 6. So,
did it get a release date? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, I did. No, I did. November 9th.
Oh wow, okay. But they're doing another
damn,
showcase, aren't they? RGG.
Yes, Ryu. I can't remember the studio's name, but yes, they are going to have their own showcase.
Yeah, like next week, I believe. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll probably get more about that there then.
Definitely gonna watch that. All right, let's move on to. I'm trying to get all the big ones out of the way first. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I expected to see, and he did do Jeff did do a funny tease in the middle of the show. James, you want to talk about that one?
The DoorDash ad.
Yeah.
So Jeff, so we had a trailer for the Final Fantasy mobile game. It was like Final Fantasy VII remastered for mobile or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Jeff comes out after the trailer finishes and he says, "Speaking of Final Fantasy," and everyone's like, "Oh," and then he's like, Here's an ad for DoorDash where you can get Final Fantasy 16 goodies or whatever.
It was the best, worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was very good. It was very amusing. Yeah. So he's a funny guy, Jeff Keighley.
Yeah. So I think obviously he knew they were gonna have it, and there was a lot of rumors and teases.
It would have been his head on the chopping block if he made that joke and they didn't actually have the game.
Yeah. So yeah, there was a lot of rumors and stuff about it, and Square Enix was teasing this game for like the whole week with like these cryptic posts, or not like, I don't know if they were cryptic, but they were just constant. And so we finally get to see the Final Fantasy VII world, like the wilderness, because Final Fantasy VII is 95% open world. Like the Midgar section that you play in the first remake is 5%, like 5% of the first game, original game. So there's so much you guys don't know and have yet to see. I'm not gonna
2 discs.
I'm not gonna spoil
Two
it all.
fucking discs on a PS5. I want to know how that fucking works. How big is this goddamn game that you need 2 discs?
Yeah,
I'm not complaining, by the way. I mean, before anyone misconstrues me, I'm not complaining. I'm just wondering.
It makes sense considering like how big the world is, obviously, and if they made Midgard such a huge city that like to make the whole world like a game, I'd imagine it's gonna be like 200 gigabytes. So they must have been really working on it at the same time as the first one, because this game must have taken a long ass time to make. So
I don't remember. I mean, I know the first game looks good, so I can't imagine this looks like a huge step up graphically from the first game, but this looks beautiful. It really looks good.
Yeah, I was really blown away. I was blown away by everything. I mean, I had already gotten spoiled that the announcement happened because I was a little late on watching SGF, but I also kind of figured it was going to happen. So no big loss there. But yeah, I mean, the story implications are interesting because Sephiroth talks about how he killed Tifa, and he's implying that that isn't the real Tifa. And then there's like lots of like really cool dialogue that we finally get to see more of Red 13, and we get to see him in action. And then Yuffie joins the crew, which is fun. It's just a lot of. I'm so excited. It's one of my most hyped games of the year.
I recognized a lot of sections that they showed. I'm not going to say what they are, but we saw Tifa on a stretcher, which was not in the original game.
Well, we saw a bunch of them like on a stretcher coming out of Midgard.
My assumption is, this is not a spoiler, is I think there's another timeline where Zack is still alive, and then they're gonna find a way to like combine the timeline. It's gonna be like a Flash kind of storyline. I mean, they kind of did that in the first game. So I think we're gonna mostly get the same stuff as the original game, but I do think they're doing like this timeline story too.
I think I'm gonna need a recap video for the first game because I was confused as hell watching that trailer. I have no idea what's going on.
I mean, it would not surprise me if they did a recap, because Kingdom Hearts 3 also does a recap, and Nomura's in charge of that as well. So I would expect a recap.
I actually can tell you in like 2 sentences. Basically, it follows the same timeline as the first original game, but like for Sephiroth has become self-aware that like of his demise, that like he knows what happened in the original game. So now anytime something that goes off the actual timeline, the ghosts will step in and stop it from happening. So like remember like when Barrett dies in the first game and he comes back to life, that wasn't supposed to happen. Those ghosts are like timeline fixers. So basically, Sephiroth's messing with
the timeline. It's basically all meta comment / metaphor on the fans and how fucking.
I'm telling you, it's the Flash. This happened in the Flash. When anytime Barry messes with the timeline, like there's always like the spirits or something like Flash, like police force that comes in and tries to fix everything, and that's basically what those spirits were.
Yeah, I really need to play the original because that sounds so fucking cool.
Yes, but that's not in the original game at all. Like this is all.
No, I don't. But like the idea of like how it plays off the original and like oh man, like I loved the game. I love the remake, but like that adds like a whole new dimension to
I mean, 7 is one of the greatest. It's like I love that game so much. Like it's gonna look dated, but it's a quality storytelling. You'll really like it, I think. And
yeah,
and it'd be nice.
Will,
and
this is the
go ahead.
the thing with like playing old games is I will enjoy it, but I won't have the same attachment to it that you do.
Sure.
Because I'm not playing at the same time and place, but I'll definitely enjoy it.
It'd be nice to have somebody with like in this Discord where I can actually have a spoiler discussion because I can't. Yeah. I have to tiptoe around everything so much with you guys, because I don't want to ruin the experience for you.
Are you the only one who's played it?
7?
Yeah.
Yes, I think Mitch tried it for a little bit, but he didn't finish it. Like he doesn't know the.
I played it up to the Ghost Factory train track section, and then I think I quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I quit pretty early on. I kept dying to a boss over and over, and I couldn't. I was like 9, and I couldn't figure out how to go anywhere, and I just got frustrated and I quit.
Yeah, there's so much like the main story, like the main antagonist, like it's Sephiroth, but it's like there's a whole thing he's trying to do that you don't know yet. They kind of. In a way, the remake has spoiled the ending of the original game already. Like they show what happened, but that's why it's kind of like. But I don't think you would notice that unless you beat the original game. Like right. You pick up on those things when you beat it. But that's all I'll say. We're all excited for it. If James, you ever get to play Final Fantasy 7, I want to have a good discussion with you about it because
we will do that.
It's so hard. Yeah. Because I want to watch Advent Children with you guys. I want to see what you guys think of like Dirge of Cerberus and things. Because they might remaster that at some point. All right.
They could.
Because if they give it the Crisis Core treatment, I might check it out.
Because apparently, this is a really quick tangent, I promise. Apparently, Square Enix is remaking Final Fantasy 9. Like that's pretty much confirmed, and it was leaked in that NVIDIA leak as well. And so it's all but confirmed at this point. And also, but apparently now they're remaking 10, which is, I love 10. It's masterpiece. But so they're on like this Final Fantasy remake binge. I don't know if it's different teams working on it, I imagine.
Yeah.
But it's
my second favorite Riku in all of Square Enix.
Yeah, but they're skipping 8 for some reason.
Yeah, that surprises me because like I know a lot of people think 8 is better than 7 even.
Really?
That's a popular opinion, I think.
No, a lot of people don't like. I mean, people love 8, but people also really dislike 8 because 8 has the worst combat system, and it's a card game kind of thing, and basically you get punished for leveling up. The lower level you stay, the easier the game is, basically. But the triad system, the card game system, was pretty fun. But it was just.
Is it good? How's the story though? Because
the story is really
that's
good.
Probably why.
The story and the soundtrack are really good, but it's the typical teenage romance drama, save the world, timeline stuff. It's one of those timeline stories where there's.
I actually grew up with the 10 and the X2 commercials, so just based on nostalgia alone for that, I would kind of love to be able to play the remakes if they're accessible.
I mean, yeah, 10 and 10-2 are on PS4 and Switch now and everything. Like, they're so good. Like, they're so accessible now. Final Fantasy is so... You can pretty much play every mainline Final Fantasy game on PlayStation now. Like, pretty much every single one. Now they have the collection of all the old ones now. You can basically play 1 through 16 on PS5. So... That's really cool.
I think I'll wait for the remake for 10 and X2, but it is pretty cool. I finally get to my patience and laziness in playing Final Fantasy is finally paying off.
I mean, I would probably avoid 10-2 if you. I mean, I like 10-2, but it's Charlie's Angels. Like the first game is nothing like the second game. Second game they're like pop stars and she's singing. The first 10 minutes of the game, Yuna is on stage singing a pop song, and yeah. So a lot of people were like, "What am I watching?" A lot of people were like, "What am I watching?" Because it
sounds like a lot of fun.
It's actually really fun, but it's a total contrast to the first game, which was very dark and serious. All right, but it makes sense in the context of the story.
Sure.
All right, so those are all the big games. So this section is gonna be a little faster now. The next thing I want to talk about is before we do games. Let's talk about the two non-gaming things, which was Nicolas Cage being on stage because he's in Dead by Daylight. Do you guys have anything to say about that?
Dory, I'll let you go first if you want.
Yeah. So first off, big Nicolas Cage fan. Love Nicolas Cage. I thought this was one of the best celebrity appearances that I've ever seen on an award show. Maybe not including Keanu Reeves, your breathtaking one. But other than the Keanu Reeves, I have a hard time thinking of a place where a celebrity was A, universally accepted from the get-go, B, universally beloved from the get-go, and C, immediately integrated themselves perfectly into that spot and just was so flawlessly themselves. I mean, if Nicolas Cage is anybody, he's Nicolas Cage. But I loved it.
Though, do you know something, Dory? You remember that E3 that Keanu Reeves was out on stage for Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
The same E3 at the Ubisoft show, John Bernthal came out with a dog.
And that's right. I remember that.
A lot of people forget that.
Yeah, no, the dog was so cute. I like John Bernthal, but I was so distracted by the dog that I couldn't care. But yeah, I love John Bernthal's dog.
Keanu is the highest standard. Nicolas Cage, now he's in Dead by Daylight, which I don't personally care about. I don't like the gameplay that much.
I don't either. For the record, I do not care about the Dead by Daylight, but I thought this was cool.
Now, Dory, have you ever seen the movie Fright Night? Or know of it?
No, I don't think so.
It's a classic vampire movie. Basically, the kid, his neighbor is a vampire, and he tries to recruit a vampire hunter. But he's not really a vampire hunter. He plays one on TV. But it turns out he actually gets the help of the vampire to fight an actual vampire. Basically, what I'm saying is, I would love to have a game where Nicolas Cage is the protagonist, and he's like a vampire hunter on TV, and he actually has to be and you actually get to play as him. You know what I mean? I would do a whole cool vampire story with.
I mean, it's interesting to note that you are playing a character in Dead by Daylight that's based on the actor Nicolas Cage, which is kind of like.
That's what I'm saying. He should play himself in the game.
Yeah.
If I was doing a storyline, I would have Nicolas Cage playing himself as a horror, let's say he's Bruce Campbell, and
Cage is
that'd be a fun
storyline. Nick Cage is really making bank at the moment playing himself.
Yeah.
Which is great for him. But
do an Evil West game with him. That would be fun.
Yeah.
That kind of gameplay with Nicolas Cage.
But celebrity cameos or celebrity appearances at E3 or video game shows has got to be one of my favorite things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys remember the Battlefield event in 2016, where they got a bunch of celebrities to come and play Battlefield 1. Or Battlefield 5, or whichever one it was at that time.
I vaguely remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and Snoop Dogg showed up and gave everyone weed.
One of my favorite appearances from Snoop Dogg, real quick, are both wrestling related, but he showed up in AEW at one point, and he did a frog splash, and by a frog splash, podcast listeners, I'm heavily using quote fingers here, but by a frog splash I mean he jumped off and just let kind of gravity do about 95% of the work, and then he was also at WrestleMania recently and pulled off one of the biggest great improvs after Shane McMahon tore his ACL or whatever in the middle of the ring, after Michael Cole said that he was in great shape. Snoop Dogg's a legend.
I remember. And go ahead.
At that same Battlefield thing as well, Zac Efron and James Fox.
I was right about to mention that. That's the one
also,
I remember.
Also,
it was so awkward.
That interact, because they were just they were getting asked are you guys excited? You guys excited to play Battlefield? And they're just yeah, sure.
I'm pretty sure they were high too.
They did not want to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They looked like they were
there for they were there to get high. They weren't there.
They were drunk or high, but they were just out of it. They just got paid probably $1,000 just to stand there or something. Yeah. $20,000. Yeah.
So, man, I miss
I kind of E3s can be mostly terrible, but I do miss the cringy moments. What was that other guy? He was a famous YouTuber, and then he was they filmed. They had a camera on him, and he just couldn't put out words. He just completely froze.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember his. They did the handshake thing.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but for the Need for Speed Payback, he was there and he just. Oh, that was.
I felt bad though.
That was brilliant.
I felt bad though. I think it wasn't his fault. It was something was wrong with the script or something.
It kind of was his fault, because I know what happened there.
Yeah.
I don't think he I don't think he read his lines beforehand. Like I don't think
Okay.
I don't think he memorized his lines. He was just gonna read off the teleprompter, and then the teleprompter broke,
Yeah.
and that's what happened. Um, so yeah, man, that was great. I miss E3. Just never forget what they took from us.
Never forget. All right. Another thing they showed was Twisted Metal. We finally got some clips from it. I have mixed feelings. No, you know me. I love some schlock, but
Yeah.
even for me, I was like, okay.
Kind of cringe.
It was kind of cringe. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Sisqo, like the singer. But I did not expect to see Sweet Tooth sing the thong song.
I just want to add that I completely, as soon as I saw it was Twisted Metal, I skipped by this, so I avoided all.
You haven't seen this?
No, I haven't seen this. I mean,
you need to go watch it.
Oh my god!
Basically, Samoa Joe grabs Anthony Mackie and bends him over, and then sings the thong song to him.
What?
That's exactly what happens.
So I
have seen the
this.
picture. I have seen the picture of Samoa Joe just in a particular position behind Anthony Mackie. So I have seen that picture.
And he was singing Sisqo to him, like he was singing the words of the thong song.
So I hated this at the time when we were watching it, Seb.
Yeah.
As I made clear to you. But I went back and watched it again, and this was actually probably the thing I was most excited to talk about out of all of these, because I went back and watched it again, and it kind of grew on me. Because like, it's so weird, like in terms of like a creative choice.
Yeah.
Or every single creative choice that they make in this one scene is so bizarre and makes so little sense that I kind of find it entertaining.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what they're going for, or like maybe it's on purpose.
I think people are just upset that he's dubbed instead of just letting Samoa Joe be Samoa Joe.
I was also upset about that. Look, if you've ever watched AEW, WWE, TNA, whatever, with Samoa Joe, dude is fire on the mic. He is an excellent speaker, and like the idea that he couldn't deliver these lines or be really menacing or be really crazy is ridiculous to me. Dude has been wrestling for 20 plus years. He's built like a tank, and his promo game is good.
Yeah.
So like that's wild to me. I mean, I love Will Arnett. Don't get me wrong, but that's wild to me. Also, Will Arnett definitely looked like he had just woken up from a bender or something, because he did not look ready for that.
Yeah, they filmed him like in his like bedroom. Like in bed.
He filmed himself. He's sitting there with his camera phone, like
yeah, his FaceTime.
That's my least favorite thing is like celebrities not putting in effort for these things.
Yeah.
Nick Cage, he put in effort. You know, respect to him for that. But this whole Twisted Metal thing, Will Arnett was definitely. I mean, I've never played Twisted Metal, but Will Arnett definitely seems like the wrong choice. That's a big red flag for this thing for me.
Yeah, like I think Twisted Metal always had a sense of like goofiness, but like that was like way into the goofy territory. Like this is like self-parody, like it's almost making fun of the franchise in a way, like because a lot of people just found it cringy, and I don't think it hit with people.
I think it's got a good shot at the so bad it's good genre.
If it's that, I'm happy. If it's sci-fi bad, it's just fun, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Cause I wasn't cringing. I was just like, this is a little too much. Because Sweet Tooth's not he's not a goofy character that you just like make fun of like that. Like he's not like that cringe. You know what I mean? He's actually kind of a cool character, and they made him like a complete joke. So I understand why people are upset.
I've heard that he's different across different games.
He is.
Like some games,
but
like
that was beyond.
Psycho.
He's not always like serious. Like he can be like the Joker, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was a little. Like we've seen the Joker be dark, but we've never seen the Joker sing Sisqo and bend Batman over. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Although now I kind of want to.
All right, so let's move on now to let's do Palworld actually, which is gotta shoot them all.
Yeah.
The Pokemon
Nice.
game where you gotta shoot all the Pokemon, basically. I knew about this game. I think it was on PC already or something about it. I feel like I've seen this before. But basically, it's a third-person shooter in Pokemon world, and you shoot them. Like, that's pretty much the game. And the Pokemon all have like missiles on them and stuff. So, yeah, what do you guys think about this game?
I think like it's the easy comment to make.
It's pretty
but,
genius. Honestly.
I think Nintendo's lawyers are currently drafting a cease and desist.
That's probably already happened, I would think.
Probably already happened, yeah.
Well, I
honestly, I think that's how the game even got this far.
I think there's enough.
I have so few thoughts about this game. I saw it, I blinked, it was gone, I moved on. I don't know. I just Pokemon. I feel very loosely invested in Pokemon at this point. I didn't play Arceus, I didn't play Scarlet or Violet, so it's like add guns, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck we're doing.
I love
like,
Pokemon, but I love the idea of just like just not giving a shit.
Yeah.
And make a parody
I'm
of
kind
Pokemon.
of in the same camp as Dory. I'm not gonna play it, but I am gonna watch the Fallout.
Yes.
With Nintendo.
I am morbidly curious how this goes with Nintendo. Gotta sue them all. So.
Yeah, like I don't plan on buying it unless it gets good reviews or something. But
Imagine IGN comes out with a 10 out of 10. Gotta shoot them all.
Yeah.
No, really, please.
97 on Metacritic.
If it reviews better than the last Pokemon game, Nintendo will
Oh my
really
god,
not be happy.
please. That would be so funny. Now I want that to happen. Please.
Well, what's the other game?
Just so Nintendo.
I'm sure they're fine because I think what's the other game? 1010 or whatever. It's pretty much a Pokemon ripoff.
Yeah.
And 1010.
Yeah, they probably are fine.
And they're
yeah,
fine.
Monster Collectors has been a thing forever. I mean, Digimon never got sued. Monster Rancher never got sued. I mean,
I think the problem with this game though, it's not that I think they're gonna get sued over it. I think they're fine. It's just that like the character models look like very like Pokemon. Like they actually look like Pokemon. Like
very anime style.
Like I mean, I'm seeing Flareons and Gardevoirs and stuff. Like
yes, a couple of them I had to do a double take. I was like, "Is that X Pokemon?" I was like, I was literally doing, "Who's that Pokemon?"
But because they look a little too much like they're really.
Why do they have a gun? What the fuck is happening?
There is an episode. Pokemon was actually pretty adult, but we never got that version because they sent.
Yeah, I know, and because in Japan it aired certain episodes, but in America it definitely did not.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Sonic Superstars. Now, James, you had this on your list, so I'll leave the floor to you. Why are you
I'm
excited
not a
about
big
this?
Sonic fan.
Yeah.
I'm rubbish at Sonic games, which is why I'm not a big Sonic fan, because I feel like you kind of have to understand those games and be good at them to enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of surprised by this one because it's a 2D Sonic game with a new kind of art style, and it looks kind of like a cartoon. Kind of the animations look really clear. It's kind of it doesn't look like Cuphead. I'm not going to say it looks like Cuphead. That would be a weird comparison to make, but like it kind of feels like it's going for the same sort of vibe as Cuphead, where it kind of feels like an animated show that you can play.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks the style is really nice, and it just looks like more 2D Sonic, which I think a lot of people are after and interested in. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally not. I've never been a big fan of 2D Sonic, even though I'm a '90s kid. So it doesn't really appeal to me as much. But this game's gonna be huge with the Sonic fan base. Like I think it's really cool, even though it's not for me. And I also agree with the art style. It's really cool. It has like this. It has the old school look while also looking modern at the same time. And I like that it's co-op. You play with your friends and stuff. So
yes,
it's really
that
cool.
looks really cool.
Yeah, it's a cool surprise.
The thing, the way they kind of revealed it, like, you know, how at the start of the trailer, it's like the original Sonic art style, and then it goes into the new art style.
Yeah.
It kind of leads you to think at the start, or it led me to think anyway, that it was like a remaster.
Yeah.
Which it isn't. It's like a new game. But it did make me think and I mentioned this to you at the time, Seb, I really want a remaster of Sonic the Fighters, which is a game that nobody played. I think, but I did, and I loved that game. So remaster of that, please, Sega.
I mean, you never know. Sonic's
I wish
it's done such crazy things that
I really wish I cared about Sonic at this point. I just don't. It's not like a hit on like Sonic as a character. I don't feel any investment in the series. I feel like every time I think about buying like the original Sonic remasters that came out a few years ago or whatever, or that collection, Sonic Origins, I think. I think about playing them, and then I'm like, no, I think it's just because I'm not into that genre anymore, the platformer or mascot genre. I'm just generally not into. Like, I played Spyro, but I think that's an exception, honestly, and just because Spyro is so damn accessible compared to Crash or Sonic. But I don't know. I this was like cool. I feel like, I don't know. I also feel like I've seen this like 5 times now, where they're like, Sonic's going back to its roots. I'm like, how many fucking times can Sonic go back to his roots? Like, I don't know. It seems boring at this point.
I was telling James there, it kind of reminded me of Sonic Generations, because Sonic Generations you can switch between like 2D and 3D, and it was a kind of a tribute to old school Sonic, and it had like 2 different Sonics in it.
I think somebody said on Twitter that this game looks like it copied Sonic Generations homework or something like that, or maybe Sonic Origins homework, something like that.
They've done like 2D tribute Sonic games a lot recently. Like, it feels like we've got a handful of them now.
It almost feels like they're scared to make a 3D game, which I know isn't true because Frontiers came out and that did decently. But
yeah, Frontiers.
I don't know.
I got the platinum in Frontiers. It was actually quite good.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like they should just go. I don't know. I appreciate it at the same. I'm so multifaceted on this because I also appreciate that they're trying the Frontier stuff, but they're also doing the classic 2D stuff. Like, I feel like that's what Final Fantasy is doing, right? It's doing it with the action RPG and the turn-based, and then that's also what Ryu Studios is doing. Ryu Goka Studios or whatever they're called.
Yeah. And then they have Persona as well.
The Yakuza. Yeah, and Persona is doing that too. So I feel like it's just the cool thing to do, to dip your toes in the past and the future / present of gaming.
I would say objectively, Sonic's probably in the best place it's been ever. Like, with the movies being a hit and a lot of games coming out, there have been a lot more.
That's a different story.
Sure, but they've been commercially successful and people generally like them or find them okay, and the games have done a lot better than the ones we had like 15 years ago, which were like all terrible. Sonic's been on a good spot right now. They're doing well.
One final note.
Yeah.
The Summer Game Fest Play Days thing. Brian Shea from Game Informer has played Sonic Superstars. That's what it's called, right? Sonic Superstars.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he's played it and he says it's good. So there you go.
There you go. All right.
Thank you.
All right. So the next ones are going to be a little more rapid fire, I think. First game I want to talk about is Remnant 2. I didn't play the first one, but like the gameplay that I saw looks really fun. I like the look to it, and I think, when's it coming out? Did you get a release date? Let's see.
Apparently,
July
it's Ryu
25th.
Gotoku Studio. I'm not gonna say that right, but basically RGG Studio.
Yeah. The
Anyway,
Yakuza studio.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the Yakuza studio that I keep butchering, and I apologize for.
Do you guys have any interest in Remnant 2, or?
No.
I mean, I kind of did because I enjoyed the first game, but I'm not going to pick it up if I'm honest.
I literally skipped past the trailer, so with all apologies to their fans.
Yeah, it's something I'll maybe pick up when it's on sale or something. I don't think it's day one for me.
I mean, the first game was kind of a hidden gem, so I have no doubt this one will be fun too, but there's just too much to play.
Yeah,
for sure.
Agree. Although July is pretty barren, which is a nice break, unless you like Pikmin or something. Next game the next game we're talking about is Sandland, which I thought it was. I'm curious what like the gameplay. Like I get like the whole like I don't think it's open world, but it's got like big open section, and I'm just curious what the gameplay is gonna be like. Cause
I love that feeling as like an Akira Toriyama fan. You immediately know like what his like you know that he's involved because, well, first off it's Bandai, but second, like you could just recognize that animation.
I told James
that love it, by the way.
I told James immediately. Yeah. Oh, that's Akira Toriyama. I know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love. I mean, I'm a big Toriyama fan. Love Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff. But Yeah, I really like this a lot. This is definitely on my radar. This is a maybe I'll buy it depending on reviews.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot of fun. It's a brand new IP, so you don't have to really worry about it. The cool thing too is apparently they teased the anime and the video game at the same time, and they ended up doing both. So that's pretty rad. So if you like one, maybe you'll like the other. It's kind of similar to Cyberpunk. Yeah, there's going to be an anime for Sandland, because of course it's Toriyama. But the same thing with Cyberpunk, right? They did the cartoon. What's that an anime? I think that was an anime as well.
Yeah,
but
Edge
Trigger.
Runners. Edge Runners.
Yeah. Edge Runners. So they did that, and they did the video game. So similar to Cyberpunk, they're doing that with Sandland. So I think it looks really cool.
I'm interested with the what made them want to jump into this, because I believe the manga came out like 20-something years ago. So I'm curious.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's originally a manga, so I'm curious like what made.
Oh, all right. So it's not an original IP. I didn't know that. I had never heard of Sandland before. So
yeah, it's I don't believe it was out really long. Let me look up really quick. It was.
Yeah.
It's not like a long series or anything. Yeah, Kira Toriyama has several series that are more obscure, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
In comparison to like Dragon Ball, obviously Dragon Ball is the Star Wars of anime.
Right. I mean, he started off with a lot of comedy series and stuff like that,
Yes.
Which have made special appearances in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Yes, even Dragon Ball originally was more comedy focused.
Yeah,
and then
like,
became more action focused.
Because he's known for like Dr. Slump too and stuff.
Dr. Slump, yep, that's what the one I was trying to think of. Dr. Slump, yep.
Yeah, that's what what's her name?
I know, that's who I've been trying to think of. I can't remember her name. She makes an appearance in Super.
Yes. Why am I forgetting her name? Oh my god, I feel like a fake fan.
Arale.
Right, and she was in the fighting game too.
Yes, she was in the
Riley.
So Arale, yeah.
Riley, yep. She's an android. Yep. Yeah. So I'm digging the style. It looks like vehicle combat, kind of like Mad Max a little bit.
Yes.
But like with a Dragon Ball.
It looks
look.
nothing like Mad Max. I'm sorry.
No, but it has like this desert like vehicle combat but like anime style. I don't know. That's
Man, I feel like I know this is a tangent, but I feel like Fury Road came out a million years ago, and I'm so mad we never got a sequel or anything to it. I mean, I don't know if they're still working on it. Are they still working on it or
next year?
Oh, next year? Oh
Very
shit!
awesome.
Okay, cool. Damn, that was
It's
so
not.
long ago.
It's not a sequel. It's more of a spin-off. But anyway.
Right? It wasn't a Furiosa spin-off.
Yeah.
Okay, this is me going on a
But
tangent.
George
I'm pulling a
Miller's
Mitch.
doing it, so it's the same director.
Oh, good.
And
Okay.
and the game is underrated too.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the game. Surprisingly.
Now, another game I want to talk about is Warhammer 40K, Space Marine 2.
Yay.
Now, I think they're usually strategy games, right? But
Yeah.
But this one's like a 3D not 3D, third-person shooter. And it actually looks really fun. It reminded me of Gears of War with the co-op and everything. But like has like
I think the series has its hands in a bunch of different genres.
It does. I think
it's got the
yeah.
What's the name of the hard one that they've got, like the co-op 4v4? The 4-player co-op one.
The one that just came out. Yeah, I forgot the name of it, but I know what you're talking
No,
about.
no, it came out ages ago. The sequel did.
The sequel. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, somebody knows. Game Pass.
Anyway, I was really digging it. I really liked the gameplay. It looks like a lot of fun. It reminded me of Gears of War. That's something I'm on the maybe camp, where I might buy it day one, depending what the reviews are and everything, because that looks like a lot of fun. But also, it depends on how long the campaign is, because if it's like a 6-hour campaign or something, then that's something that'd be cool to get on sale for like $20.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that one hit Game Pass.
Yes, I could see that as well. Alright. Next game I want to talk about is Banishers Ghost of Eden.
This look cool.
Yeah, they look. We've seen this before. I want another showcase. I think it was State of Play. This is Dotnod, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
Now they're hit or miss with their games. The last was a Black Mirror, not Black Mirror, something Mirror, Twin Mirror.
Yeah, Twin Mirror.
Yeah, that one wasn't that great. And the reviews were bad. And Life is Strange.
I
Before
remember
the Storm.
being bummed because I was super pumped for it. Go ahead.
And then Before the Storm was pretty good, but it wasn't the best.
That DLC, I will never stop hyping up the Before the Storm DLC. My God, did I sob? Oh my God,
Yeah.
I probably the hardest I've ever cried at a video game in my life. It is incredible emotions. But yes, Don't Nod is definitely
And
A little inconsistent lately.
And Vampire wasn't. I got the platinum and everything.
I quit Vampire after the first few hours. I did not like the gameplay at all. I felt it was so slow. I loved the story, and I loved the voice acting and stuff, but I hated the combat.
Like I said, it's very, very mixed because I quite liked Tell Me Why. I thought it was a very good story.
Yeah, I still haven't played that. Maybe I should play for Pride Month. I don't know.
Yeah, I made it my mission to play it in June because they did it because they came out for free.
Yes, it's out for free this month. I heard about that. So
yeah, they did that last year too. It feels like a good time to play it. It's really good. If you like Life is Strange, you'll really like it. And it has like superpowers in it too and everything. All right, but it's not. It's slow. So don't expect like a lot of action or anything. It's definitely more about solving something. All right, Immortals of Aveum, right? Is it
Aveum?
Yes.
Is it Aveum?
Avium? I don't fucking know.
Yeah. But either way, we've already talked about this last episode, but it looks cool, right? Like it looks AAA.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I wanted to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Because I think I had it on my list. The thing that I wanted to mention is, I mean, it looked alright before.
Yeah.
A lot of people a lot of people were very excited about it. It looked very good, kind of very exciting. But this showing of it kind of soured it for me a lot. If I was kind of hesitant about it before, I am very much hesitant about it now, because I mean, okay, so the thing is, the gameplay is like, you're shooting things at your hands or whatever. It looks great when you've got hundreds of half-a-second clips stitched together in a trailer, but when you've got like uncut gameplay like this, it seems kind of slow and clunky, and not that visually appealing to me.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched it, but I was watching IGN's stream, and I feel like I saw even extra gameplay after the showcase. It was like 10 minutes of like actual gameplay, and it looked slower than the trailer seems to show. You know what I mean? Like it was
right. Yeah.
It looked like a typical first-person action game. It reminded me of Ghost. It reminds me of a combination of BioShock and Ghostwire Tokyo, because Ghostwire Tokyo has the hand signs combat, but also it kind of reminded me of BioShock with all the powers you can do. So it looks really cool. I don't know if it's gonna. It doesn't strike me as something that's gonna be incredible or great. It looks like it's gonna be like a solid game, like a fun, solid, single player experience, and that's kind of it. So if it's like something I can get on sale and have a good time with it, and then kind of move on. Like it doesn't feel like anything that's gonna like blow me away. But
I was really blown away at first. I still really like this trailer, but it didn't do anything more to hype me up for sure. I think the combat looks really good. I have heard from the preview. I watched the preview from IGN that the main character has main protagonist syndrome. They're like really fucking annoying. So the maybe the writing and story is what's going to drag this one down. Yeah. But he only got to play obviously a preview of it, not the whole game. So we'll see what happens. But I'll definitely be paying attention to reviews,
because the characters in dialogue are giving me Forspoken vibes. So all right, I got 2 more games on the list, and then we're gonna move on. All right, Dory had Toxic Commando on her list, and
okay, this looks fun. This just looks fun. All right, if you had John Carpenter on your goddamn bingo card for Summer Games Fest, first off, what the fuck? You must have insider knowledge, because I would never have guessed that. But I guess John Carpenter's been playing a lot of video games lately. So I guess it makes sense that he would get involved in video games, because doesn't do a lot with movies these days, but he's obviously made some incredible bangers. Halloween, one of my favorite of all times.
The Thing.
Spooky movies. The Thing, of course, great movie as well.
A lot of them. He's made a lot. The Fog.
He's made a lot of them. But this looks fun. I just wanted to highlight this because it looks fun. A vehicle shooter with zombies is a little different. It still looks like you've kind of got the wacky humor with zombies, and I'm kind of tired of that at this point. I don't know why, but I've just suddenly decided I'm tired of that. But it looks like a barrel of fun. If you can do some co-op with some friends, I think it would be a good time. Not expecting a ton here, but I also think just the title is fun. The gameplay looks good. I like that John Carpenter is involved because it means maybe the writing won't be trash. Yeah, I just thought this was a cool little thing. Not something I expected.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely be paying attention to see what happens with it.
Now I had mixed feelings when I was watching this trailer because it's not what I expected in the beginning. I thought like maybe they were doing like a Until Dawn kind of game, where it was gonna be like a narrative heavy game with John Carpenter's writing, and then it turned into like Back for Blood. Now, it looks fun, but it looks incredibly generic to me. These zombie games are so overdone now at this point. But I feel,
absolutely, it looks generic as hell. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah, even like the this is a little nitpick, but even like the title is a little edgy. Like it's going for like
it kind of reminded me of the Toxic Avenger for that like kind of B horror movie. So I figured it was a reference to that. Yeah, that's why it didn't come off as edgy to me.
Yeah, it's just going for like that, like we're the cool gamer thing, like we're gonna do all these jokes and have fun kind of vibe to it, but it looks fun. It looks fun. I don't have anything bad to say. It's just I feel like I've seen this game a trillion times at this point. And
yeah, I'd like, you know what? If I had to pick out a game from the showcase that bored me the most, it would be this one. Like I feel like I'm pretty resistant in general to fatigue from like genre oversaturation, but this is a case where like, you know, I've played one too many zombie shooters at this point, and like this one does nothing to stand out,
especially first person ones.
Yes,
especially I mean Call of Duty, you know, the zombies have been around forever now. Just that alone. Yeah. Left 4 Dead, Back for Blood. There's just too many to name. All right, but let's see if it might be something fun. If it's like on Game Pass, we can all play or something. Then maybe I'll check it out. But
I'm gonna be honest, right?
That's something I'd play for $60.
I don't think this is even something I would play on Game Pass. I feel like I'd just be wasting my time with it.
Fair enough. I would try it, but whether I stick with it or not, that's one thing. That's another.
I think the big selling point is, I mean, that John Carpenter is involved because he's such a legend of horror and such a legend of movies and writing and stuff. So I'm interested on that basis alone. If John Carpenter wasn't involved, I might still think this looks like dumb fun, but I probably wouldn't be half as invested as I am. Which, I mean, to be clear, I'm not super invested, but it looks fun.
My thing, though, is John Carpenter's style in his movies are always a lot more serious and dark. He never really goes for like these over the top, crazy, like this feels like a Stephen King like off his rocker kind of thing with the edginess and everything. And so John Carpenter's kind of a weird choice for this style of a game. Like I would thought he would have went for like a more narrative game that fits his style more, because he has a very unique edge to him. So it was just kind of, it was weird they're going for like this 80s like rock vibe kind of thing. So maybe because he's older and he likes 80s rock and he wanted to do something like that. But I just feel like you could have did something really cool with him, because he's like one of the masters of horror. He's made so many great movies. So all right, and finally let's end with, was it Lysfangs? Is that how you pronounce it? Lysfanga? Dora, you had that on your list?
Yeah, sorry, I was just chewing on something. Yeah, Lysfanga, I think, was the pronunciation.
Lysfanga, okay. So, tell us about it.
Yeah, so Lysfanga had a really cool art style. It's basically kind of like a hack and slash meets tactical kind of time travel-y thing. Yeah. It felt, because of its isometric kind of approach, felt a little like Hades to me. And I really liked kind of the mix of hack and slash gameplay, and then having like the ability to like shift in and out of time. I love that shit. One of the best parts of Titanfall 2, which is one of my like new like favorite shooters of all time. and similar to Hades, it also has like pretty short levels. There's lots of different weapons involved. It's called Lysfanga, the Time Shift Warrior. It looked pretty cool. I love the animation. I love the Hades-esque gameplay. And if they can nail, how fun Hades was and how addictive it was, I mean, I could really get into this.
Yeah, it looks really cool. It's coming out this year actually, but it's only on PC. It's gonna be on Steam and Epic Game Store. But that did jump out to me. It did remind me of Hades. I guess everything's gonna be compared to Hades nowadays, like if it has that style. But yeah, it looked really cool. Definitely one of the cooler indies they showed at that showcase for sure. So that's pretty much it. Overall, I think we all thought it was a solid show. Like, it had a lot of filler, a lot of MMOs and online shooters that I didn't care about.
I think PlayStation set the bar for this E3 season, being the first out of the gate.
Pretty low.
And Jeff leaped over it. I mean, I don't think it was the best showcase ever, but and it wasn't a high bar, but he definitely jumped over that bar.
Yeah, I'd agree. I thought the PlayStation Showcase was like a 3.5. I felt like this was a 3.5, maybe a little higher. I didn't think this was like substantially better than the PlayStation one, but I did come away with it with more games that I was interested in than the PlayStation one.
Yeah,
sure.
like,
And also there was a lot. I felt like in this one, and maybe that's just me. I don't know. I didn't get a good sense from what other folks are feeling on Twitter. But I feel like this one had way more gameplay and less CGI trailers per like showing. That was my impression.
It absolutely did.
Yeah. Okay. And I love that. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have given the PlayStation 1 like a 2.5 out of 5.
Depends how I look at it. If I look at it as a first party showcase, then yeah, I give it a 2 out of 5. But I look at it as something that, like, how many games am I going to buy a third party showcase? I would say it was a nice solid 6 or 7 for me, because there was a lot of games I'm going to buy on my PS5. It's just that, like, we don't know shit about their first party coming up. But just to be clear, though, I am not worried about PlayStation's future in the next year or so. They have a lot of games coming out next year. I'm not. I did a whole post on Twitter, and and we got plenty of games coming out next year for PlayStation. So I'm not worried about their first party.
I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about their ability to put on a compelling showcase.
No,
as a company, I'm not worried about them at all.
Yeah, because people are like doom and gloom right now. Like, cause I think Xbox show is gonna be fantastic, which we'll talk about. And I don't think that means the end of Sony. I think Sony will be just fine. Because just a really quick tangent. Next year, or this year too, we got Lost Soul Aside, Rise of the Ronin, Wolverine maybe, Death Stranding 2, Stellar Blade, Final Fantasy Rebirth, and Silent Hill 2 remake. Those are all either published by Sony or exclusive to Sony. So that's this year or next year. And I
can see Metal Gear Solid 3 remake being at the end of next year too.
Yeah, for sure. So they're doing quite well. All right, so let's move on to the two games we're going to talk about tonight, and then we're going to talk about the Xbox show. So I want to talk about Street Fighter 6 really quick. Now, I know you guys are not huge fighting game fans. I'm not a giant Street Fighter fan either, so this is not the franchise I've grown up with. I grew up with Tekken and Mortal Kombat more. But I gotta say, this is probably one of the best fighting games ever made, if not the best. That's very debatable, but I do think it's definitely one of the best. It has a very high Metacritic score. It's in the 90s. And people are really digging it. My whole timeline, everybody's having a great time with it. I've mostly seen gameplay of the online, because obviously the main appeal is fighting people ranked and unranked online. Not so much the single player as much. Everybody's very like into the ranking, because it has a really cool system with ranking, and you see everybody's stats, and it's really it feels like you're part of a league basically, which is cool. But what I'm gonna hit on mostly the single player stuff, because I don't really play online as much. The multiplayer, it's not, because that's something you have to like play all the time and practice, because otherwise you're gonna get your ass kicked. Because this game does have a modern controls, that you can play with old school controls or modern controls, And you can kind of see the difference between old school and modern, because the modern people tend to get their asses kicked because the old school people can do all the more of the combos because they're so used to the way you play that. So you can tell that a lot of the modern people are just doing like grapple, and then like you have like the old school people doing like left diagonal slash, you know, all that crazy shit. And they whoop their asses. So there is a new drive system. I'm not gonna go into too much detail because it will go over your guys' head. But basically, it's just like you can do like these really sick combos that have like really cool animations to them. This game has a really cool like graffiti look to it, like a very cel shaded, unique style, and it really adds to like the flavor of the game. That's all. I don't want to like jump into too much of the gameplay. What I want to talk about mostly is the World Tour. The World Tour basically is a whole new mode where you create your own character. It has a storyline, and you walk around like this town and do like side missions and stuff. It's like an RPG, and you meet all the characters in the game, all the cast, and you can train under them. And you train under them, you level up under them. You get their skills, and you can buy costumes and outfits for your character. And it reminds me a lot of like the Yakuza games, because you walk around and a lot of craziness happens. Like you fight like these thieves that have boxes on their heads, or you fight like Roombas or fridges. It has like that Yakuza craziness to it, and the side stuff, and it has like a lot of mini games, like the Yakuza games. There's mini games inside.
It's quite expansive then.
It is quite to an extent. It reminds me. It's like a combination of Yakuza. Okay, it's not open world. It's like very limited, like small map. I would not super small, but it's like Yakuza map. You know, it's not much you can do. Like,
yeah.
I would say it's smaller than the Yakuza map. It reminds me of like NBA 2K's open world thing that they do. So it's not amazing or anything, but it's a pretty cool thing that they added to Street Fighter, I think. What else? Customization's really, really good. Like, you can really change any facial feature. Like, it goes really in depth with that. You can spend a lot of hours doing that if you really care about that. The problem is after you start unlocking like the world travel, because you can travel to other countries. Because, you know, Street Fighter takes place in the real world, so like the main hub is in America. It's kind of like in fictional New York. You travel to Brazil, Jamaica, China, Russia, and that's when you meet all the different characters, because, you know, all the characters are from around the world. But those sections are very, very limited, because when you go there, you usually just meet the new character, fight them, and then there's like a couple people you can talk to, and that's about it. And you can fight them, and that's about it. Like, there's no like open areas there. Like, you kind of just travel somewhere, have a very limited space, and then you go back to the main hub, which is the New York. So it's very limited. It's not amazing. I think that's just the way of them introducing the characters to you. Also, but I will say the cutscenes are really well animated and cool. This game has a very cool style to it. I like the narrative. It's not like amazing or anything, but it's pretty cool. What else? I would say one problem as well is it takes a long time to level up your skills. When it comes to like training under somebody, like you have to grind a lot to get all the moves for a person. So I was just sticking with one person anyway, so not a big deal to me. And then also, if your character is male and you train under a female teacher, you kind of have their exact same like animations, so you do like a lot of girly animations, which is kind of funny. Now I'm almost done. I want to talk about, there's a battle hub you can go to, where everybody walks around, and they have like a lot of cool things there. Obviously, you can use points to buy customization for your character. You can actually play as your character and walk around. You can also play. There's an arcade section where they have like a bunch of arcade machines, and they have all old school Capcom games, so you can play that. So you can spend hours just playing old school Capcom games in the hub, just by going up to the arcade, which is cool. And then obviously you can just fight everybody online and at that hub and stuff. So it has a lot of content. Obviously, it's a fighting game. So if you're not into like fighting people ranked and unranked a lot, and it's probably not something I'd recommend. Like, this is something you play just from like It's a fun like pickup game. Maybe. Well, let's say this: it's a fun pickup game if you play unranked and you just want to like fight people for like half an hour or something. If you want to play ranked, then you obviously have to be committed, because you can see how bad people are and how good people are. Like you can tell who plays a lot in comparison, because you'll get your ass kicked in Street Fighter. Well, that's any fighting game. You know how you ever play online like any game, and then you run into somebody that has like Japanese or Chinese letters, and they just destroy everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
That's basically how it is.
All the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I said ranked and unranked, and then I would say the tutorials are fantastic. Like they're very helpful. There's so many cool things. Like if you spectate, there's a lot of like pop-ups on the screen that like show you all the moves and tutorials. You can see what the other person's doing. It's really, really cool. I would say this is the most accessible Street Fighter game. As I said, like there's modern controls now and everything. So even if you want to be casual, you can still have a good time. Just don't expect to beat the best players, obviously playing, and that's unless you really commit to practicing. But if you just want to have a fun, casual time, you have a good time.
It sounds like there's a lot of like single player content there.
Yeah.
So.
Which is really cool for a fighting game, because a lot of fighting games tend to just do campaign and then multiplayer and that's it. So it's cool that they went all out on this. You can tell this game had a lot of passion for it in comparison, like Street Fighter V, which felt like a complete mess. So like I said, this is one of the best fighting games ever made. So it's really, really cool. I just love the whole like Jet Set Radio vibe to it, with the graffiti and everything. It's just really cool. So if you like fighting games, totally recommend. Now, the next game that I want to talk about is Diablo IV, which low-key might be my game of the year right now. Like, I love Zelda, but Diablo I'm probably going to put 300 hours into. Because I
just want to be clear, if you've been in our Discord server, it's high-key, not low-key, is the game of the year.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. It's just that, like, for some reason, I haven't been motivated to play Zelda as much. Like, it's very weird. Like, I got really hyped for it. I played it for, like, a week, and then it's, like, something about... I just felt like playing PlayStation, and then I just kept getting into, like, different PlayStation... I think it's I got the DualSense Edge, and I really love that controller, and it just made me want to keep using my PlayStation. Like, it's totally not worth $200, but, like, it's so, like, feels so good in your hand, and it just feels so premium. It's just, like... It actually makes you want to play PlayStation more, which is kind of it's weird. Anyway, so I've been playing a lot of Diablo. I am almost level 50, and I put maybe 45 hours into it so far. I'm still in Act 1 because I've done almost every dungeon on the map in that first section. I pretty much done everything.
I started out doing like dungeons as I came across them, but then I realized very quickly that a lot of side missions get you to go into dungeons, and I would have to go in and do them again. So what I've started not doing dungeons until I've done all the side missions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've been playing it as well. You played the early access, right?
Mm-hmm. I played
Which is
day
how
one.
you managed to get to level 50.
Yes.
So I got it on the Tuesday when it properly came out.
Were you able to get on though?
Huh?
Were you able to get on though? Because they had.
Yeah, but surprisingly, I didn't have any issues. So I played it. I've been playing it since then, and I've gotten to level 27, 28, something like that. So yeah, I'm loving it. I've been playing it a ton. Just kind of grinding out side missions and making my way through that.
It's so addicting. It's so addicting.
It really is. Just like the gameplay loop as well, and like, because I mean, I've almost made it to the end of the skill tree as well. I'm playing Sorcerer. Who did you end up going?
I'm a Necromancer.
Necromancer, right. But I'm playing Sorcerer, and I'm like trying out all these different abilities and stuff, because you can play with all these different elements, lightning attacks and fire and ice, and like you can mix and match. Currently what I'm sitting at is I'm trying to make a build that's all the kind of fire abilities. Like I can bring meteors down on people, I can summon Hydra heads, and throw fireballs and all this kind of cool stuff. And like you can really kind of get in depth and like do that RPG thing where like you tailor everything to a build and try and min-max like your abilities.
And it gets even deeper when you get to level 50, because it has like the whole Paragon system. There's a whole other
Right,
skill
yeah.
tree. So yeah, you can be really customize your character to fit your build. Because my build is, I'm a summoner. At first I was going for the bone build where it was I was by myself and I was just shooting bones at people, and I was doing more damage if I sacrificed my summons. But I switched to like a more of a necromancer build where I'm like have a whole army of undead that have certain different roles. Like I have a big golem behind me. I also have like the mage skeletons, and then like the heal me and freeze enemies, and also have like the reaper ones with sights. So I'm really liking that build a lot better. Like I feel a lot more tanky because obviously as a necromancer I'm very squishy. I'm living a lot better than I was for sure. Plus they nerf and buff skills quite often because Blizzard Diablo's like an MMO, but it's not. Like they've already changed. They already made a lot of changes to the classes and made something stronger and something's weaker. But I'm really loving the necromancer so far. I would say so far I've been a little disappointed with the armor builds and this fact that I feel like I'm keep getting the same armor, like looking armor, and I feel like the coolest looking armor is behind the paywall, where you have to buy it for like $11 or $12. Now I think my armor set looks really cool, but yeah,
they do the exact same thing with Overwatch 2 now.
Yeah,
where like all the coolest armor you have to pay for, and
they do that
the
with
rest of it is rubbish.
They've always done it. Yeah, even in World of Warcraft, like the coolest mounts are all like $25 in the store. So like it's something instead of like earning it like in a raid or something, you can just buy it for $25, and it's like
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But that's like the annoying thing, the thing that's starting to grate on me, like the one criticism I have of the game. It's not even a huge criticism. It's like, but I am starting to get a little tired of having to run everywhere, because there are mounts, but you don't unlock them until I don't even know when you unlock them.
When you beat the game, I think, the campaign.
Well, really?
I believe it's like either Act 3 or Act 4, or you beat it, something like that. It's late. It's supposed to be late in the game, I believe.
Right, because I'm still in the first act, but like I go to the stables and it says, you need to complete this mission first or whatever, and progress the campaign. So I assumed it was going to be soon, but so I've been trying to shoot through the campaign before doing more side missions, because I wanted to get a mount so I could, like a horse, so I could get to side missions faster and do all these chores and everything. But shit, I guess I'll stop holding out hope for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you have to grind or anything in this game because everything's scaled up to you. So you can play anything at your own pace. So it might be just better to just run right through the campaign and then do all the side stuff. But I just been enjoying going through in dungeons and stuff and grinding and stuff.
Yeah.
I really like that. I mean, it'd be nice to have more space in my bag. I feel like I always have to sell shit.
You can't even get through, like if you're picking up everything in a dungeon, you can't even get through a whole dungeon without having to drop something.
Yeah.
To pick up more,
But at the same time, it's very addicting when you keep getting more loot and you're always upgrading something. That's usually something I would criticize a game for, but in this case, like when you get like a new pair of gloves and it's like plus 10 compared to what you already have, and then you see an orange legendary, it feels very rewarding.
One thing I didn't expect to be so invested in is the story.
Oh, Diablo is a great story. All of them.
Right, but that opening cinematic, and we've all seen it before because I'm pretty sure they showed it off at BlizzCon ages ago, and obviously part of the beta weekends and everything. But that opening cinematic when you first launch the game is unbelievable. It's it's so intense, and the directing in it is just incredibly good.
I don't care how shitty Blizzard's gotten. If one thing they've always been the best at is cinematics. Like no one does cinematics like them in terms of cinematography and everything. Nobody does animation better than Blizzard. Even when they're extra shitty in their game designs and microtransactions and all that, the cinematics always. I mean, look at Overwatch. I think Overwatch was so popular because those cinematics had so much great story to them and memorable characters.
Yeah, I might never touch Overwatch again, but I'll always keep watching the cinematics when they make more.
Like World of Warcraft, I think a lot of the appeal of World of Warcraft right from the beginning was just how mind blowing the animation was. That just drew people in. So Diablo is a really good story. that's what I like about these games is like there's so much side content and they're all real and I really like they're really interesting. Like you just walk into like a random dungeon and they might have a really cool like sequence, and I love like these open world like events that always happen. Like you're constantly walking around. There's like an orange circle, and you walk into it and you just end up fighting a big boss. And
I like that.
And then you can work with people without even have to talk to them. You just everybody kind of gets the knows the job.
Yeah, the thing with the story is, I love, and this is gonna be like, new Diablo fan here, never played one before. You're gonna be saying it's always been like this, whatever. But like I just love the tone of it. Like it's so dark and it feels so different from anything else in games. And I love that about it. I kind of wish that the premise of the story wasn't the big bad's going to destroy the world and we need to stop her.
Every Diablo game's like that, unfortunately.
Right, yeah. I kind of wish like it was a bit more interesting than that, but like it doesn't matter that much because the tone and everything and like the aesthetics and just everything is so cool.
Yeah. Diablo's always had like a really cool edginess to it, like not like a cheesy way, but like a really it's very violent, pulls no punches, very grim, dark world. It's kind of like The Witcher in a way, I guess you can say, where it's like everything's just so grim and like very gothic.
Yeah, it's very focused
very little
on
comedy at all.
Yeah, it's very focused on like the religious aspect.
I mean, Diablo's the devil, basically, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's in this game yet, but he's definitely usually the main bad guy in all the other ones, so maybe he'll pop up. Yeah.
Maybe.
Like you said, the gameplay loop is incredible. Like that's the best part of the game, obviously, and the loot and everything. I have nothing but positive to say, like in terms of gameplay. There's nothing that really jumps at me as like horrendous. Like obviously, like maybe a little nitpicky with having to keep selling shit, and it might be a little repetitive, obviously, but like the gameplay loop is so addicting. You kind of forget that it's repetitive.
Yes, yeah, you do.
It gets really hard. It's really hard too if you. I mean, I'm playing on veteran.
But you can change the world tier. So I was I was on the easiest one for newcomers or whatever before, but I've moved it up to veteran, I think.
Yeah.
The second one now, and it feels a lot more. It feels a lot less easy, but like a lot more balanced.
Yeah, veteran is where I would go because you get a lot more experience and loot, and also you get more of a challenge. But not a challenge where it's like hard. I feel like veteran is like normal mode. Like I die, but I don't die like that often. Like I'm not playing hardcore mode. I'm not that kind of person. I know people are already level 100 on hardcore mode, which means if you die once, your character's dead and that's it.
No.
Yeah, that's actually a real thing. Yeah.
But no, it's definitely, it feels balanced. The nice thing is that death isn't very punishing either. You lose 10% of your armor's durability, but you can go and
repair it. Yeah,
repair it. So
yep. And then also like the fact that like I have so much. I don't know how much you have, but like I feel like I don't have to. I haven't really bought any armor because I'm doing so many dungeons that I always feel like I have really good gear. And so I don't feel like I have to go to a merchant and buy anything. So I have like I have like 3 million gold. Yeah.
That's the thing in like any RPG. I mean, I never buy stuff from merchants.
I only do like
there's always better stuff to find.
Sure, definitely. Only time I ever buy armor in a game is like a JRPG because the weapons in the merchants will be like really much better than everything else. But yeah, usually I don't buy anything from the merchant. Also, because I have so much money, because I haven't really been buying anything, that like when I have to repair something, it's like 2,000 gold when I have like 3 million. So it's like I don't even feel it. Same. I don't even feel it.
Yeah.
So it's not really an issue if you die a lot.
It's great. I hate when games over punish.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's sometimes bosses that have like really cheap mechanics where like they shoot like projectiles at you and they follow you, and then there's just so much projectiles at you on the screen that you really can't dodge it. I've had some cheap deaths that way.
As a sorcerer, like whose most or all of my attacks are long ranged, the enemies who chase you around are really annoying.
Yeah.
Because like you need to keep turning around to shoot at them, and
I'm in the same boat because I'm a caster as well, and that like I'm very long range. So when you have like someone like always on me, I get like we're not meant to like keep getting hit. We're not. We have to keep a distance. Yeah.
I guess those classes kind of feel geared towards co-op and playing with people who are meant to get in there and take all the attention.
Yeah, I mean, sorcerers are always meant to be like crowd control, where like you freeze them and you get away from them and then keep shooting them. And like necromancers like more about the summoning and like having an army around you, because like most of the time they're attacking my my soldiers because I can constantly summon them. Because when an enemy dies, they leave behind like a body, and I can just use that to summon pets constantly. Like it's not there's no like wait time. It's just constant summoning things. That's why I like this game. There's the combat is just like very, very smooth. It's like very, very fast. Like just always shit just going on screen, and like you never feel like there's cooldowns a lot. Like the cooldowns, I mean obviously we all have cooldowns, but they're not like 5 minutes. They're like 30 seconds. If you really know how to play your character right, you can have some badass builds and badass strategies. And it's very unique. Like every class feels unique, but also even with the classes, their specs are very unique. Like everybody has a very different style to them. Because I've seen rogues be like poison builds. I've seen them be archer builds. I've seen frozen archer builds, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean it's like I was saying with the sorcerer. You know, you've got the ice, lightning, and fire. Like I've got a fire build at the moment, but I could switch that over to ice, or a mix of ice and fire, and all these different ideas and combinations. So yeah, there is a lot you could do. Yeah, what I'm going to do is as well, I'm going to try out some other characters. So I've already tried out some other characters, but once I'm done the campaign, I think, on the sorcerer, I'm going to go and make a rogue and maybe a barbarian. Because it was such a tough thing to decide which character to play at the start. So yeah, definitely going to try all those out. I think in general, it's not a 10 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. It's sitting at the moment. It's at the top of my game of the year list though. It's above Resident Evil 4 and Dead Space. So
yes.
We'll see if anything tops it, but it's definitely gonna. I think it's definitely gonna land like the top 5.
Yes, for sure. I can't say my game of the year yet because like I have to put more time into Zelda. Obviously, I just haven't put time into like I should. But I still have like the summer off. I'll have time. I'll have Zelda beat by the end of the year. But I'm pretty confident that Diablo is gonna be like in my top 3. Like I'd be shocked if it's not my top 3. Like I'm pretty confident it's gonna be either 2 or 3. Or 1 maybe. But it is that great of a game. I mean, obviously I grew up with Diablo, especially 2 and 3, especially 2. But even then, it's just the gameplay loop is so addicting. It's the game I'm definitely put the most hours into than any other game. I'm probably gonna put 300 hours into this game at least. I would imagine. I mean, I already put 50 hours into it. I'm only on the first area. I mean, the maps were quite big. Now, don't get me wrong. The first map is probably bigger than everything else around it. It seems like, but still, that the fact that I'm like spending 50 hours just doing everything on the map is usually not something I do. So that tells you a lot about the gameplay loop.
Yeah, it's a big game
for sure, and it's also one of the best games to play with your friends too. So we got to play it together when we ever get the chance. I'm so curious how that works. I'm curious how that works though, because I haven't played with my friends yet, and I'm curious like how it scales. Like, does it scale to each different person or?
I've jumped into somebody's game, and it's it's like you're playing at your own level. It scales everything to your level.
Okay. That makes sense.
Just totally fluid. Probably
one
one of the better systems of co-op that I've seen in a game
that's
like
good,
this.
Then, yeah. What else is there? Soundtrack is really good. Obviously, Blizzard always does great soundtracks. Never worried about that. Story's good. Gameplay's good. I think we've hit on everything, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right, so Diablo, it's really, really good. Totally recommend. I understand being like hesitant to support a Blizzard game, so if you don't want to do that, totally understand. But like in terms of like microtransactions and all that, doesn't affect the game at all. Like you could basically just buy armor if you want it, but it's cosmetic, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't force you into anything that I've noticed. Like I haven't been forced. You know, like when you play like Assassin's Creed, what was it, Origins or something? Like the grind was so bad that like they kind of forced you to like purchase the experience boost or whatever on purpose.
Yeah.
This game doesn't have that. Like everything in this game is just cosmetic, totally optional. So it's something you can totally ignore. It's not like really an issue. But like I said, if you don't want to support the studio and all the I totally understand. Yeah, that's Diablo. So let's talk about Xbox Showcase now. Our predictions. All right, so tomorrow or today, if this episode is uploaded tomorrow, we're gonna have the Xbox Showcase, which everybody's assuming is gonna be the greatest showcase of this Summer Game Fest season because A, they have so much to show, and two, it's not really a high bar. Everything's a low bar.
The competition has not been fierce, and we've had most of them already.
Right.
So.
Right.
But even then, now is the time to show to show their games because it's been like years now since we've seen like Avowed and Fable and all that. So it's time. And Starfield is getting a whole 30-minute showcase. So they're going all in. Starfield is their huge game of the year. It's their like they're hoping it's like their Tears of the Kingdom of hype for them. So let me start with. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you guys questions. Most of them are gonna be basically true or false. I'm gonna ask you most likely or not likely, but some of them are also just gonna be like just general questions as well. Like the first question I'm gonna ask you guys is which game opens the show? Like what do you think they're gonna start the showcase with? So let's start with James.
It's a tough question because I don't. Do they open with something known, or do they open with a surprise?
That's a good question.
I think. I think they open with Hellblade 2, because I think they know that's a highly anticipated game. They know people are excited for that. People want to see that. Get that out of the way first. Get people excited. So I think Hellblade 2 is probably a safe bet for the opener. It's also big enough, I think, to warrant being the opener of the show.
What do you think, Dory?
I think you want to start off big and get people excited at the gate and then give them some time to breathe, afterwards a little bit. So, I mean, probably some kind of known quantity, probably not like a surprise or anything. You might want to space those out. Honestly, I mean, maybe they said they weren't going to be doing any like movie trailers or CGI trailers or anything. So I don't know how you could do this, but like I would love it if they started with Fable because they've already announced Fable. Fable is a known franchise. Maybe a brief in-game engine teaser or something announcing a kind of release window. Not a date, but a window, maybe like a year, even just a year. I think that would be cool. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be super detailed, but just get people excited and talking. Like, oh my God, 2026 or 2025, whatever the heck it's going to be. So I think that'd be cool. That's the one that kind of sticks out to me. I think Hellblade's a great pick too, though.
Yeah, I think Fable is. We already seen a CGI trailer years ago, so I think it's time to show more than that. Like I'm not really against CGI trailers if it's just like an announcement of a game. Like, oh, this is what we're working on right now in a couple years. That's cool with me. But like when you already showed the game as a CGI trailer a few years ago, then I'm like, yeah, you can't show a CGI trailer again. Like it should be more ahead. But for me personally, I think I think both those are great picks. I would lean Hellblade more to start the show with, but I do think if I had to guess, I think Avowed's going to be the first thing they show, because I think Avowed is not only going to look great 'cause it's Obsidian, but also I think it's coming out next year. I'm pretty confident it's coming out next year.
That's right. I forgot Avowed was an Obsidian game.
Yes, and this is their big game. Like this is their Elder Scrolls. So this is like everything they've been working on. Like Pentiment was their side project, like their passion project, but this is their.
I just want to say, that's incredible. That game was like a 9 or a 10 out of 10, and that was their motherfucking side project, so I'm excited.
I mean, it's really amazing how, like, Microsoft has a monopoly on Western RPGs, because they have, like, all those companies, all the studios under their brand, under their, window, like, their wing, rather. Obsidian is, like, arguably the best Western RPG maker.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean,
I'm really hyped. I
best
forgot,
Fallout game?
honestly, completely forgot. Like, I've been looking at lists and stuff, so I knew about Avowed, but I totally forgot who was behind it and what it was. But now that I am reminded that it's Obsidian, and that it's an RPG game, yeah, that's pretty hype.
This is one of their biggest games. Like, I expect to see like 5 to 10 minutes gameplay and stuff. Like,
That'd be awesome. Yeah, would love to see it.
It's
First-person
time.
RPGs.
We've been waiting like 2-3
yeah.
years now since the last time they showed
Yep.
it. So there's no.
I think they even got one of the articles I was looking at got a quote from a dev that was saying that it's mostly ready at this point, or mostly playable, or something like that.
I'm quite confident it's coming out next year. It has to come out next year. Okay, so what game closes the show? Like what is their last game that they show? Like what's like I'll start with Dory this time. Like, what do you think is like the last?
Shit.
They closed with like Redfall before. I think they closed with Starfield. They closed with Starfield.
Right? Oh my god, it would be incredible if they did a Redfall expansion or announced the sequel immediately. The award-winning Redfall, as we all know. No, I think it would be great if we just a hot take, but I think closing with Redfall was maybe a slight mistake. So I think let's go bigger. Again, it doesn't have to be. This one, I think you can get away with a very short in-game trailer because, again, they a little pot shot at Sony, and I love this stuff. But, no CGI trailers or whatever, no movie trailers. But if they are going to do an in-game engine trailer, just a very quick, like, little teaser for, like, Gear 6. I could see that happening. I don't... That's the biggest thing I can think of off the top of my head. I don't know how realistic that is, but if they wanted to end with, like, a shocker, which probably isn't a shocker at this point, maybe, I don't know. I think Gear 6, a quick like little in-game engine teaser, similar to the thing that they did with RE2 remake when they did like the short little quick thing. That might have been CGI though, I don't remember.
It was,
but yeah, it was CGI, but like a little quick in-game. I don't know. It's difficult because
no. I think the Resident Evil 2 remake was in-game engine. I mean, it was like a cinematic section, but it was like
right. That's what I meant. Yeah. It wasn't gameplay, but it was like a cinematic section. So I think doing something similar with Gear 6 would make a lot of sense, and obviously be a hype announcement.
It was the gas station part, I believe.
Yeah, with the rat and stuff like that. That's the trailer I'm thinking of.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was the gas station part when the cop gets bit.
Yep.
Well, James, what do you think they're gonna close with?
All right. This is maybe a long shot, but I think it lines up well with some other things that are coming out soon in other industries. I think they're gonna close with either a CG trailer or a very short actual in-engine trailer for Indiana Jones.
I fully expect to see that game there, but that's actually good. I can see that being last.
Yeah, because the film's coming out.
Yeah,
right,
so I was
at the
just
end
about to
of
say
this
that.
month.
Yep.
It makes sense, right? Like get the word. Like they've already announced that it's happening, but that's just. I mean, how many people actually know? Because they announced it on Twitter in like a text post, right? How many people outside of the likes of us, people who follow the gaming industry and that kind of thing, know about it, right? Get some more attention on it, right? The film's coming out. There's a lot of hype for Indiana Jones at the moment.
I gotta be real, y'all. I didn't know this was coming out until I started looking at lists. I was like, oh, I didn't even know this existed.
Exactly. So
even I didn't know.
Same studio that made it's Machine Games, so the people that made Wolfenstein.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
So, I mean, even if the game is not ready or not going to be ready for a while, this seems like the right time to get some kind of trailer, even if it's just CG.
Yeah. That was a good pick. I can definitely see that. Now, the lights turn off, and you hear, oh, and then Banjo comes on.
Right, yeah.
Oh, man, that'd be so good. Oh, that'd be 10 out of 10 showcase.
Now, like, the most hardcore people, like you and I, would probably be screaming, but everybody else would be like...
scream. I would be so excited. All the fucking Gen Zers and whatever comes after that would be like, the fuck is this going on? But every millennial would be like, oh my god!
Sorry, like Final Fantasy 7 reveal, like people crying, like... like Sora.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
The Sora Smash Brothers reveal, people were like crying.
That's right.
That's gonna be us.
Yeah.
Or Banjo.
Yep.
No,
Yeah, absolutely.
unfortunately, I don't see that happening. They're not going to show
No,
that.
probably not.
I think.
I mean, isn't Rare working on Everwild anyway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah. So
Although I've heard that hit some turbulence.
yes,
major.
that they restarted production in 2021.
Yes.
So.
Right.
All right. I feel like Hellblade. They're gonna close with Hellblade, and then we're gonna get a release date.
Makes
Sure.
sense.
Or
I don't know.
actually, you know what?
More gameplay and release date.
Actually, you know what? I feel like it's gonna be Fable though.
I could see that.
Oh man,
I think
you know what?
Fable's more likely.
I'll go with Fable because
Yeah.
I think Fable's the one they've been hyping the most in terms of like the journalists on Twitter and stuff. And then they did a glitter thing on Xbox's Twitter, and I feel like that's the thing they're closing with because that's like the thing they're like really putting the most like.
Do you think we get a release window?
Yes, I do think that.
Yeah.
I think it's. I'm going to say. I mean, I it's hard to say because I don't know how far they're in. Like, I need to see something. Like, if I see gameplay, then I think it's maybe next year. But if it's like just like another in-game kind of thing but they're not really showing any gameplay, then I'm gonna say it's 2025. If I had to predict, I would say 2025. But we'll see. I think Xbox has plenty of games for next year that they don't need to put Fable in there as well. So if it's not ready yet, then 2025 is good. So I'll say Fable. They close it with Fable. All right.
I can definitely see that.
Now these are going to be a little more rapid fire because you guys already hit on some of them already. Hellblade 2 comes out this year. Likely or not likely? James? Likely.
I don't know. I don't want to say not likely. I could see early next year. But I mean, I also not like I've been going over the CGI trailers. They haven't shown a lot of it though. They showed it at 2 different showcases last year, and it did look pretty done. So I wouldn't be surprised if it came out this year. But I could also see early next year.
I think they want the holiday release.
Yes, that would make sense. Absolutely. I think late this year at earliest.
I'm likely.
In my opinion.
I think it's going to be November.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think Forza is going to come out in October, and then Hellblade is going to come out in November. They'll have a nice fall, and then Starfield in September. Obviously, that's a very good. That's a very good 3 months.
Yeah, a lot of competition around kind of October, September.
Yeah, my God.
But
Stacked as hell.
I don't think that's going to scare them off. I think they could go for the end of the year. So.
Yeah, November's biggest competition is Call of Duty, I believe. So because I think it's November 11th. The new Call of Duty. Yeah, I think that was confirmed pretty much by the the director.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I was watching like several podcasts and they said that as well. So I believe the director said it was coming out in November.
Do you think Call of Duty will show up here? Because they usually do their own thing, right?
No. Because if Microsoft owned Activision or some shit like already, then yeah. But PlayStation has the marketing rights still with Call of Duty.
Sure.
And we already got with the whole Summer Game Fest. So I don't think we're gonna see Call of Duty. But you never know, I guess. All right, so we kind of hit on this already. Avowed gets gameplay and is coming out next year. Likely or not likely? Dory, what do you think?
I want to be a positive Pete about this one. I'm going to say likely just because I want it. I have no idea if that's realistic.
James?
I think... listen, if certain leaks / rumors had not happened literally less than a day before the showcase, still annoyed about that, by the way, I'd probably be saying unlikely. But I'm going to have to say likely.
Not only do I think it's likely, I think it's almost guaranteed at this point. Like, we'll definitely see Avowed, but the game's got to be ready to go. I think we're going to see gameplay, and I think we're going to release date. I think the release date is going to be next year. Now, I don't know when. I'm not going to predict when next year because I don't know what the landscape's going to be next year. But I'm pretty confident this is their big game for 2024. Like, this is going to be one of their biggest games. So it's really good for them to have a Starfield this year, and then
it takes place in the Pillars of Eternity universe as well. Universe they've already spent 2 games building up, so it definitely will be huge.
Like I said, best Western RPG makers ever. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Dory kind of handled this already. Microsoft shows Gears of War at all, or so you guys? Or Coalition rather. Coalition shows Gears of War. Yes or no?
I don't look. I think there's a chance we see Gears 6, but I think even if we don't, I think we'll definitely see something with the Gears name on it. Could be a Funko Pop game again, but we'll see something.
That was actually fun.
Yeah.
How long ago did Gears 5 come out? That's my question.
2019, I think.
Okay, so about 4 years ago. Yeah, I think we'll see something. I mean, it might not be a ton, but I think we'll see something. I think what I outlined earlier seems pretty realistic. A short in-game engine cutscene, or maybe even gameplay if we're really lucky, and then maybe just the announcement, and then that's probably it.
The thing that, and listen,
But I
think
know.
it's
No idea.
I think there's a good shot. The thing that gives me pause is the fact that, okay, so I wonder, did they take a break after Gears 5? Maybe. And also, I forget his name, but the creative director left for Blizzard to work on Diablo. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, like I said, I have no idea about the internal stuff of Gears. I haven't paid attention to Gears since I played the original, so
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I don't see Gears being here at all. They're taking a long break, and Gears 6 is pretty far away. So I don't think there's any chance of even seeing CGI trailer or anything. I think they might maybe do a tease, but I don't see them being at this showcase personally.
Yeah, the most likely thing I could see is a tease, and that's it.
I could see a tease next year for sure, but not this year. I think the only Gears of War thing you're going to see, if there was going to be something this year, it would be the collection that's rumored that they're going to remake Gears 2 and 3, kind of like the Master Chief collection, because those games are not accessible to PC players. They're only on Xbox. So the rumor is that they're doing a collection with the trilogy. So I can definitely.
Now, does Coalition only make Gears games? Do they do anything else, or it's just Gears?
That's the only thing they do, but they also are a big assist. They assist with the other studios, I believe.
Oh, okay.
They were founded to work on Gears, right?
Yes.
After.
I wonder if we get any Gears Tactics stuff. I don't know. I know that was a big hit.
That could happen.
Yeah. I have no investment.
I don't see
I'm
that.
just
Which
a
is
bit
why,
wrong.
but that's why I think because Gears is it's had a lot of other things that are not mainline games, so I think there's definitely opportunity there for something else.
Yeah. The Coalition, pretty much only thing they've made really is Gears of War. So they're kind of like Santa Monica with God of War.
I'm pretty sure they were founded to work on Gears after Epic Games and what the Cliffy B and everything all that kind of went away.
Because Rod Ferguson went to Blizzard, as you said.
Yeah.
All right. I think Gears of War had a lot of games. Like pretty much, it wasn't annual, but it was like 2 or 3 years each. Now I think they're taking a break with Gears of War.
Yeah.
But they are working on Gears 6. It's just we just haven't got an announcement for that yet. But I've heard like all the podcasts I've listened to with the Xbox people that like talk to them, and Phil and all that. They pretty much have said that they're working on it, but it's pretty far away. So I would imagine 2025, 2026, but probably 2025, which feels like a long time.
We think we see it next year.
I probably could see a CGI trailer next year, just as a tease.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm leaning 2026, which feels like a long time, but they took a break.
I'm gonna have a disagreement there because I think if they wait that long after Gears 5 to show anything for Gears 6, they're not gonna want to come out with a CGI trailer because fans are just gonna take that as a slap in the face. I think if they wait that long, they need to come out with actual footage.
Yeah. It depends what they show next year. If they show like in-game stuff in like then yeah, I can see the game coming out way sooner. But if it's just like Elder Scrolls 6, where it's like here's the castle and then title, like that's that's far away.
Here's a dragon.
Yeah, that's Elder Scrolls 6 did. Here's a castle. Okay,
Yeah.
it comes out when you're 45. Have fun. All right, let's move on. Do we see anything from Compulsion games at all?
What do they make again?
They made We Happy Few and
Right,
Contrast.
Don't know. Don't really care.
Okay.
I agree with James. Don't know. Don't really care. We Happy Few is a rough game, from what I hear.
Yeah. They're unique though. Like they're these cool little like they're the kind of studio that like can make really cool unique stuff on the side for you. Obviously their games are never gonna be huge sellers, but they have like a cool style to them maybe. We Happy Few had a cool style to it. It just gameplay was just lacking. But I really
Yeah, it had a lot of bugs and just a lot of the themes in it didn't resonate for a lot of people, from what I remember. So it was years ago though, but yeah that's my recollection.
And Contrast, I really liked Contrast. I thought that was a good game. It was one of my first PS4 games. It was like the first game. It was one of the first games launched on PS Plus, I believe. That and that shooting. What was that game? I forgot. You know what I'm talking about with the ship. Anyway, Contrast was one of my first PS4 games. That game was really good. It was like a puzzle game with shadows. It was really really cool. They have a really unique style to them. So I'm curious. The rumor is Project Midnight is their next game. We don't know what the title is, but that is the rumor. I can see a tease for this to the show. Like, I don't think it's gonna have like gameplay or anything, but I can definitely see like an announcement. So I'm gonna say they do announce their game. Okay, it's been 5 years since We Happy Few. So
Right.
All right. Will we see anything from In Exile? In Exile, how do you say that word? Their company. How do you say their Exile?
In Exile?
In Exile. In Exile. Yeah.
What did they make again? I feel bad for not knowing, but
Wasteland, mostly, and
right. Yeah. No, not my game.
Yeah, people are really
Yeah,
excited
not mine either. That's also why I was like, which game? Which?
People are really excited for, and they did the Bard's Tale, I think.
Oh, Bard's Tale. Okay. I haven't played any of the Bard's Tale, but wow, your dogs are upset, dude. But yeah, no, I haven't played any of the Bard's Tale games. I've heard good things about them. They're on Game Pass. I've been tempted to check them out, but I haven't, and I wasn't familiar with the studio, so I don't know. Yep.
Probably not your style of games, for sure. These are like strategy games. All right. Will we see Fallout at all? Likely or not likely, of any sort?
Impossible. not happening.
Not happening.
I don't think so. I don't know. Honestly, I haven't really wanted to keep up with Bethesda lately, so I don't know.
I don't know if it was Todd Howard, but somebody at Bethesda said that Fallout 5 is the next game after Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh, so 2040.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's
we'll all be middle aged. We'll all be middle aged by then, including Mitch and James.
I'm not going to rule out the possibility of them doing what they did with Elder Scrolls 6 and putting out like a logo before Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, but I don't see them doing it before Starfield comes out. So definitely nothing for Fallout 5. That would be ludicrous. I think, could there be a spin-off from another studio? Maybe Obsidian. Not Obsidian, because they've got Avowed and Outer Worlds 2.
Outer Worlds 2, yeah.
Coming, so not Obsidian.
Oh, I hope we see something for Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't think they'd give Fallout to anyone else. So
yeah, no.
I don't think so. I don't think, unless it was like Fallout Shelter 2 or something.
Yeah, I agree with James.
I don't think we're gonna see Fallout 5 for sure. Like that's not even their whole focus is Starfield right now. The rumor was Obsidian was working on New Vegas 2, but I don't really believe that. and they focus on Outer Worlds 2 and Avowed. I don't even think we're gonna see Outer Worlds 2 because I think they're so focused on Avowed right now. I think.
Wait. So I don't know if this counts, but what about an update for Fallout 76?
Possible, but I lean more that they're gonna show the upgrade of Fallout 4, the Xbox Series X upgrade.
Nobody's gonna care about that.
Yeah, but that's it's probably gonna be a side thing in the middle of the show. But apparently that's people keep thinking that they're gonna do that. Oh, but I wouldn't be surprised if they remaster Fallout 3. I'm still waiting for the remaster of 3. Obviously, it doesn't take a huge team to remaster an old game. People have been waiting that for. People will be hyped for that. Fallout fans would be hyped for that. I would be hyped for that.
Maybe, but
that's the only thing those are only 2 Fallout things I see. I don't see any Fallout this year.
I mean, like, I just think Todd Howard would rather remaster Skyrim again. To be perfectly honest.
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, so you guys don't see any Fallout this year, okay?
No, I don't.
Not unless it's Fallout Shelter 2.
I can see the Fallout 4 upgrade, but that's pretty much it. I don't see any new games coming out in Fallout. I was gonna ask you, what you guys will we see Elder Scrolls 6, but I think we all will say no.
They would be nuts. They'd be, especially like in the ramp up of marketing for Starfield. It would be an incredibly stupid business move to start advertising Elder Scrolls now.
I agree. It's Starfield's the main focus. It would just take away from Starfield.
Yep. And
Starfield will get plenty of content after it comes out too. Like we got like 3 to 4 years of content. I'm sure this kind of game they'll keep updating with new stuff. So it's their big game. So I would be shocked if Elder Scrolls, even anything Elder Scrolls gets mentioned. Maybe most likely we'll see Elder Scrolls Online stuff. But other than that, no 6. All right, so let's talk about Rare a little bit. Is there any chance we see Banjo or Conquer? We kind of hit on this a little bit already, but is there any chance we actually see Banjo or Conquer?
No, I think there's. I think from Rare you see Everwild. I don't think you see anything else from them.
Do you think we'll see Everwild? That's the next question. Do you think we'll actually see Everwild?
I wouldn't count it out.
I'm leaning no personally. I think there's so much turmoil with it. They kind of just want to put it to the side right now because they don't have to rush it because there's a lot of games coming up.
It's true. There's not a lot of hype behind it. Doing like an announcement for it or like re-revealing it is not gonna have a big splash.
If anything, it's gonna be more negative because they've showed it a lot already, to the point where people are gonna be like, "Where is it?" You know what I mean? So I feel like it's gonna be they put more pressure on themselves if they show it. Personally.
Yeah. So with that said, I think I agree with you. I don't think it shows up.
Same, Dory.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is still Elder Scrolls, right, or a different one?
Everwild.
Oh, Everwild. Yeah, no, I doubt we're gonna get much because of the reasons the stuff I mentioned earlier. Again, if we do, it'd be very minimalistic.
Yeah, in terms of Conquer and Banjo, I think that's pretty much dead right now. I don't think they have any focus on platforms.
I doubt that. I doubt Rare. Yeah, Rare just doesn't do that stuff.
I think
anymore.
I think Rare's too focused with Everwild and Sea of Thieves right now. But you never know. But I don't see it. Conquer's definitely not going to be shown. Imagine if they show Binks the cat. Does anyone remember that? Or Blinks? Was it Blinks? I think it was.
I mean, they should really do Volvi. We all know that.
I was gonna say the same thing. I'd love to see Volvi make a comeback. I think we're all
clamoring
really
for
excited.
it. Honestly, his '90s video games were underrated. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shame what happened.
Changed my life. Yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace. All right. Do you think we'll get DLC for Hi-Fi Rush?
I don't think so. As somebody who loves Hi-Fi Rush, the ending didn't leave a lot of room for DLC. I'm not saying they couldn't come up with it. B, didn't the creator leave Tango Studios, or one of the creators leave Tango Studio? I believe the guy who was behind, pardon me for forgetting his name, but he left Tango Studios, I'm pretty sure, like abruptly. So
Mhm.
I don't think so.
You mean Shinji Mikami?
Yeah, Shinji Mikami. I'm pretty sure he left Tango Studios, didn't he? He kind of like abruptly left. I don't know why, but it doesn't spell good things for them to do DLC. I don't know. I can't see it. The ending didn't leave a lot of room open for it. And I love Hi-Fi Rush, by the way, one of my favorite games of the year.
But I
I
don't think Shinji worked on Hi-Fi Rush though. Oh, he was executive producer, but
executive producer, yeah. So I don't.
But he
I don't know.
wasn't
That to me, that leaves a lot of questions open about whether anything will be done with Hi-Fi Rush. Also, didn't really sell super well. I mean, it was mostly on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it was Game Pass game.
And people like to throw around that it didn't sell very well, but it's not. I don't think that's as it's as if it's a negative, but I don't think it is a negative because it wasn't the goal.
For sure, yeah. I mean, that might be true. I'm just saying it's an added component to me to make it seem like I doubt we'll get DLC. Because why would you double down on a game that didn't sell well? But I don't know. Maybe that's not. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's not the metric they're going for. Maybe they're checking how many times it got downloaded on Game Pass. I mean, there was just a speed run at SGDQ for Hi-Fi Rush, and that was really beloved. So I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, I think
but,
I think if you actually check the Game Pass, and I'm not an Xbox shill or whatever, but I think it was a success, Game Pass wise. But yeah, I haven't finished the game, but I don't think it's I don't think it's a game that gets DLC. I don't think it's a DLC game. It's
I
not
don't either.
That big.
It really felt like a one and done anyway. Like even just storyline wise, and like it as a sort of tribute to PS2 type games, which those didn't really get DLC in the way at least that we get them now. I feel like that's not gonna happen.
Well, I don't think Shinji leaving has any effect on Hi-Fi Rush because he wasn't really like a main part of it. He's more Evil Within. Also, the creator of Resident Evil. Shout out to him.
Right. I mean, executive producer leaving though is still a pretty big deal. But obviously there are other people who are important in that team besides Shinji Mikami.
No,
so I'm not saying.
Isn't executive producer just the name they slap on things to give them more
Credentials?
Credentials, yeah, but when they didn't actually do anything or much.
Maybe. I don't know.
So, yeah.
Either way, I don't think it'll happen. That's my prediction on that.
The thing is, the achievements for the DLC got leaked like a while back. So the rumor is that we are getting DLC because apparently they accidentally revealed the achievements for it. So apparently we are getting DLC for it.
Wow, that's a dirty trick you just pulled.
Wow. All right. Fuck this podcast. I'm out because I just was made to look like a fool. I had not that that's hard to do, but I had not heard about that. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I will definitely be buying that.
SteamDB.
I love
SteamDB had 10 hidden achievements revealed.
You were definitely Seb's definitely going to hell for that. Everybody. I just hope everybody knows that.
Now I'm doubting all my other predictions.
I can't wait for Seb to come back around at the end and be like, "Yeah, so this was actually leaked." We actually pulled a credit report on Tango Studios.
Indiana Jones has been canceled.
No,
yeah, that's right.
I actually forgot that the achievement part was leaked. Or not leaked, but like they actually revealed it. Steam. So when I was looking it up on Twitter, I just saw it and it reminded me. Oh yeah, the achievement part did get leaked because I do remember I do know that there's a lot of rumor about there being DLC for this game. So I was leaning yes because I've heard all the rumors.
That's surprising to me because the ending really didn't. I mean, I don't know. I didn't get a DLC vibe. Like there weren't a lot of loose ends to wrap up. But fuck, I mean, they could just write a new fucking thing, a new threat or a new company or a new character. I mean, it's not like they couldn't.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Will Game Pass be native on Steam Deck? Will they announce that?
Ooh.
I have no idea.
No, I don't think so.
I lean no too, but that'd be really cool.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I would love to, but I think that's too big a swing.
And
that's wishful thinking. That's a pipe dream.
Imagine if Nintendo comes on stage. We now have Game Pass on Nintendo Switch. That'd be insane.
Ooh.
Only problem is I would imagine all the games would be like cloud. You have to stream it.
Yeah, no,
I'm
they
sorry.
would no.
And I can only take so much golden spiky hair, you know. Not everything can be on Cloud.
Now, will we see Halo at all?
Yes.
I think so. If we do, it's going to be some kind of update to Halo Infinite to get players to reinvest in the ecosystem. But other than that, I don't know. I can't see it being a new Halo game. Halo Infinite seems too close. So it's got to be some kind of major DLC or major update or just an announcement of like, hey, Halo Infinite's still cool, kids.
Yeah,
So,
This
I don't
was
know.
it has to be Halo
Yeah.
Infinite related if they do show Halo something.
Yeah, this was one of my big predictions. I think we're gonna get a massive update for Halo Infinite. It's gonna be their whole, we're turning the game around. We're getting people back in, and we're committed this time to pumping out content and keeping this train rolling.
You know, I did hear actually a leak about this, James. I'm a little concerned about the name, though. Make Halo great again? Not sure about that
Oh.
one, but, you know.
Maybe in poor
Halo MAGA.
taste, but-
Halo MAGA.
That's right. But yeah, no, I mean, I played a little Halo Infinite when it first came out. I had a blast, but it felt like I don't know. It was weird because it felt like I had already played that game a million times before. So I think I played... Oh, I think also what it was I was playing it on my PC and I was just having a lot of hard time getting it to work, and I didn't have my Xbox controller at the time. So I had to use my fucking PS5/keyboard, and that just wasn't working for me. So eventually I gave up in frustration. Maybe I'd like it more now that I have an Xbox controller, and it'd be a lot more pick up and play. But yeah, I still had a good time with it. I'm sure it's a great game, but I can't see myself getting into it.
Yeah. I do expect to see it. I don't know what it's going to be, but I do expect them to be like, hey, we got new content. We're gonna keep trying to add to this game. We're not giving up on it. But the ship might have sailed in terms of like being the huge shit they wanted it to be. But I still think there's plenty of people out there that want Halo to be good, that they shouldn't just give up on it, for sure. All right. Well, we kind of hit on this already, but will Fable get gameplay? Likely or not likely?
Likely.
Yeah, I think
At this point, I think likely.
I think it's time. I don't think it's gonna be like a 10-minute showcase of it, but I do think we're gonna see in-game something. So I do think we'll see slight gameplay, like not like too much. Like it's not gonna be a showcase of gameplay. I think it's just gonna be like snippets of gameplay. So I do expect to see Fable gameplay. It is time. All right. Well, James already said this. I was gonna ask you guys: do you guys expect to see Indiana Jones? But there's another part to it. Do you guys expect it to be first person or third person?
Oh, that's first person. First person. Because no, third person. I don't want. Yeah, third person. Because the Machine Games, obviously they make Wolfenstein. It's a first person game. But they Respawn makes Titanfall, which is a first person game, and then they went on to make Jedi. Right, so it's not unheard of.
Sure.
And I think they look at Indiana Jones and they think, okay, that fits third person action adventure game more. So that's what they go for, and they branch out. Maybe they hire some people who are more experienced with third person games. And I think that's what they do.
Dory, what do you think?
I really have no earthly idea. It's probably a third person.
I mean, you didn't even know
game?
it was a thing.
I didn't even know this game existed until I did some research for this topic. So, I mean, that should tell you how little I am invested. Also, I mean, I've heard some of the reviews about the movie that it's based on. So, yikes.
To me,
But
well,
yeah,
I don't know if it's based on
know.
a movie. I think it's just Indiana
Oh, I
Jones.
thought it was based on the movie that's coming out.
It might be might be coming out close to it, but I don't think it has anything to do with the movie itself.
Oh, okay.
But to me, it'd be a mistake if it was first person. I feel like when you have Indiana Jones IP, you should do third person, like Uncharted. This should.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should rip off Uncharted, but you should do like a Tomb Raider Uncharted type of game with Indiana Jones IP. Even if people compare it to Uncharted, obviously Uncharted is and Tomb Raider are inspired by Indiana Jones, so I think that's fine. If it's too similar, that's totally okay. I think people would. I think this game will have a lot more market share and a lot more praise and a lot more people playing it if it's third person. I think third person is more appealing to that kind of action adventure audience. You know, shooter fans are kind of a different audience than that.
Especially considering it's Indiana Jones, I think people probably want to see Indiana Jones.
I'm saying, yeah, it'd be a mistake, I think. Plus, I feel like shooters are a different audience. People like Call of Duty may like Uncharted, but they're not the same audience. Like where like Wolfenstein and Call of Duty, you probably might have some overlap there, you know. So I think
actually I want to change my answer. I don't think it's first person or third person. I think it's gonna be a Tetris style block game.
It's just pinball with Indiana Jones in the back.
Yep. It's just an Indiana Jones pinball game.
Ford in the background screaming, "Tilt!"
Kalima.
Coming soon.
Kalima. Alright. Will it be exclusive?
Yeah.
Because
probably.
There was some rumor that it wasn't.
I can't fucking imagine Sony fighting for this. I'm sorry.
Because people say it's already been in the making, so there might be a deal or something. And they kind of want to.
No.
I don't know.
They don't make deals that early. They don't make deals.
I don't know
at
how far the
point of
game is,
conception.
but I agree.
I hope so. You know what? Just for chaos, I hope so. I have no investment. I just want to see the world burn. This specific world, this very niche world.
Well, I think the opposite would happen if it was third party. Like everybody would be happy. I would think. No.
Well, I meant exclusive. Exclusive.
Oh well, yeah. I'm pretty sure it will be exclusive because Bethesda owns it, but
yeah,
I would assume. Which I think is a great get for Microsoft. Will we?
The only trouble is Indiana Jones is gonna have to fight a lot of bugs.
Probably literally.
Yes, literally and figuratively with knowing Bethesda.
Yeah. Will we see gameplay for Contraband? Likely or not likely?
No, but I think we'll see a trailer. It was actually one of my predictions. Was a trailer for Contraband, like an actual trailer.
We have to see something for Contraband. I think. I feel like it's time. I don't know.
What is Contraband again? Remind me.
We don't really know.
Yeah.
It was one of the teaser trailers. You remember that awesome showcase that Xbox had in like 2021?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of the reveals there, but it was just like a CG trailer, like a moving shot over some.
Oh, that's right. I remember this. Wow, that feels like so long ago. Yeah, it's a co-op heist game.
Yeah, isn't it? Who's making it again? Was it
Avalanche Studios?
Yeah.
Avalanche, right?
Yeah, it's the Just Cause people.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, okay. I'm a little hyped then. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
You know me. I love heist. I'm a sucker for heist.
Personally, for me, I'm not really interested in this game, but it's on Game Pass, so I'll try it. But yeah, I'm not really.
Yeah, I definitely try it.
Not my kind of game personally, but I do expect to see. I actually expect to see gameplay. Maybe not like a showcase of it, but I do expect to see like snippets.
I would think it'd be likely to get some gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll get like a montage kind of trailer.
It's set to the Benny Hill theme.
All right, this is kind of a bold one. Will we see Jet Set Radio? But Microsoft has a great deal with Sega. I think that's Sega.
No. Easy no.
Because I was gonna ask what Japanese thing you're gonna see, but obviously Persona 3 got leaked, so.
Yeah. I would love to see it. There is no indication that it's going to happen. But I would love to see it. I'd love to see a remaster of Jet Set Radio Future. I'd love to see a remake of it. I'd love to see a new game of it. I'd love to see them live on stage, send a lawsuit to Cyberpunk, whatever the hell. I'm kidding about that. But yeah, I don't know. I'd love to see it. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not.
Yeah.
I think Sega just does its own fucking thing, and it's really interested in Sonic and Yakuza and a couple other major properties that I can't think of off the top of my head, but they're not really interested in like nostalgia baiting with and I'd love to be wrong, but they're not, at least with this particular property, I don't think they're interested in nostalgia baiting.
I don't see it, but I don't think it's impossible. I do think
definitely not impossible.
There's been little murmurs about it, some people, so I think there's something in the works, or there's probably conversations maybe about it, but who knows. But if there's, but one thing you can definitely, you definitely know that Microsoft and Sega always had a great relationship, and then the first, and that, like you mentioned, Jet Set Radio Future was exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah.
So.
Hell, it came with the Xbox. So
Yeah, that was like not my first Xbox game, but it was probably definitely one of the earliest.
it was one of my first. Yeah, it came with a racing game and a Jet Set Radio game.
Yeah,
Jet Set Radio feature.
my first Xbox game was Shrek, I think.
Nice.
It's actually really fun.
Green on
It's
green.
really fun.
The
too.
first one.
Yeah, the original. Yeah, first one.
All right. Did you play Shrek 2?
No, I only played the first one. I was done.
Oh,
I was
no,
done with,
you missed out.
I was done with it after.
You missed out. Shrek 2 was one of the greatest games ever made.
Okay.
No, seriously, that game was awesome.
No, I believe you. I guess I never did. I think I was just over it. I guess. I was a big Shrek fan, the first one when it came out, and then.
Yeah, I never played the first Shrek game, but I can't imagine it holds a candle to Shrek 2.
I mean, it wasn't even good back then. It was a movie game, but it was memorable. It was actually fun. I think it was one of those games, like those obscure games that like when you grow up with and you play with your friends, and you just like no one, like, people think it's trash, but you think it's great because that's what you play when you were a kid.
Yeah, on the PS1 I had this game called Shrek Treasure Hunt.
Yeah.
Which was probably rubbish, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
There's
How
a
many
whole
questions you
universe
got,
of
Seb?
Shrek games.
Well, there's like four left.
Okay.
All right. Or 3 left now. Will we see Killer Instinct? It's a 10-year anniversary. Will we see Killer Instinct?
I'm not a fighting game person, so not my world. I don't know, but yeah, sure, why not?
I think I don't see it. I think they've pretty much given up on this franchise, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have no idea about this game, so similar to James.
But this is a game that people go wild over for sure.
I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna keep saying yes because fighting games are pretty hot right now.
You know what? The smart move might be to get in that field a little bit. Like, even though Sony owns Evo, like Microsoft would be like, "Hey, we have our own thing too. Let's go. Everybody play it at Evo." So it might not be a bad idea.
Could happen.
Because Microsoft has a monopoly on Western RPGs, and I would say Sony has a monopoly on the fighting games. They got all the marketing deals for all the fighting games.
No, definitely.
Yeah. All right, 2 more. Will we see an exclusive comic book or Star Wars or something big IP like that's exclusive, kind of like Spider-Man, for Microsoft? Because a lot of people have been saying like Green Arrow or something like that. Like, cause I know Microsoft wanted to have an exclusive deal with Marvel and it fell apart, and then went to Sony. So, do you see like an exclusive Batman Arkham kind of thing or Spider-Man game for Microsoft? Like third-party exclusive deal.
No, I think look, there are superhero games in the works that we know about. There's an Iron Man game at Motive, EA Motive.
Yeah.
There's the Black Panther game that's at EA as well, apparently.
Yeah.
There's the Captain America and Black Panther game that Amy Hennig's working on.
Yep.
I don't think we see any of those because I think they're all too far out. Star Wars games, I think we're going to see the Ubisoft Star Wars game at Ubisoft's show, but not at Xbox. So yeah, no, I don't think we'll see anything at Xbox like that.
I think if
I'm inclined to agree with James. I doubt we see much.
I agree. I think if they did do like a superhero IP that was exclusive, I think it would be DC character, not Marvel. But because I think Disney would want their games to be on every platform. I don't see LucasArts saying like, okay, let's make this exclusive. Just there's no reason to do that. Disney obviously want to make the most money as possible. And obviously, Xbox is the least played console of the 3, so it just wouldn't make any sense. But no. I could see a smaller like a comic book. I'm not saying I don't think we're gonna see it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft tries to make a deal like with somebody to make like an exclusive character kind of game. It's like, I think Green Arrow would be a cool he's not obscure or a small character, but you know what I'm saying, like he's not a household name like Spider-Man, but he's enough like you can make a cool single player game and no one's like gonna bat an eye because they didn't have a Green Arrow game. So I think that would be cool, but so it wouldn't surprise me. But I don't see it for this show anyway. I think this show is gonna be mostly first party. So, well, that's my last question for you guys. Is will you see any? Will you see any like big third party reveal that might not be exclusive, but just in general? Like, do you think we're gonna see any like big surprises from like EA, Ubisoft, something at this showcase that Microsoft has like the marketing deals for?
I don't think we're gonna see this, but I was reminded of it recently, and I do think it would be interesting if we saw IO Interactive's 007 game.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
That's something you can like
Yeah.
end the show with too.
Yeah.
I don't have much of a take on this. I mean, obviously that's a big. You could show more. I guess Mirage wouldn't be a surprise at this point, though.
No.
I don't really know what you could show as a surprise, obviously, but I think it's definitely possible. I think it's likely that we'll see at least some surprise from a third party studio, but what? I have no idea.
Yeah, I expect to see some third party but I don't know if it's gonna be like a giant surprise or.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be any big surprise. Definitely there will be a third party presence.
Yeah.
But whether we'll get any surprises, much less giant surprises, that I'm not sure
I'm
about.
not even sure it's gonna be really any third party. I think we're gonna like maybe some things, but I feel like it's gonna be mostly a first party show because they have to show what they're working on now.
Right, and we have Ubisoft Forward, and we have a couple of other third party stuff going on this month. So I mean, maybe there won't be as much third party as I originally said.
Yeah, I mean, is EA doing a showcase?
They're not actually. It's a good point. So we could see some EA stuff here. I think if EA is going to be anywhere, it'll be here.
Yeah, that would be like I can see EA. If there was any big developer or publisher, I would think EA would be more likely to be shown at Xbox's show. Or if, like I said, if it's a DC character, then maybe you'll see WB Games or something. But
yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think EA's got anything in the pipe that we know about that would be ready to be shown.
Yeah, I would imagine Iron Man would probably be a PlayStation marketing thing.
No, I think Iron Man could be there.
You could,
but I don't think it's ready.
Yeah, but I'm saying I mean, I would think though, like, I think Disney just would probably prefer Sony as the marketing deal for Marvel games. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think EA probably has more autonomy over that.
I'm sure.
Than you think.
But even then, I think EA would probably prefer Sony to have the marketing.
Maybe, but EA has the relationship with Xbox. And,
they do.
Like, I mean, they've got EA Play on Game Pass and so on.
Yeah, it's just Iron Man is one of those like you want to market it like with the highest person, I guess. But I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could go either way.
Yeah,
either way.
But I don't think it's that anyway.
Yeah.
But,
no, I don't think we see that this year.
Yeah, I have no idea what third-party game they can show. I really don't. I guess we'll see. That's pretty much everything. I think we went on a lot. We hit on a lot of predictions. I think.
Can I hit a couple more?
Sure.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Just high level, right? So, obviously we're going to see Forza Motorsport. I think. Do we have a release date for that yet?
No, but I didn't put that on my list only because I'm 100% guaranteed that it's going to be.
Yeah, it's a given.
Yeah, like so it's going to be October probably.
Okay. And I also think we're going to get one or two big Game Pass reveals. I think they're going to want to say like, here, we've got some like I think they're going to have made some big deals, some big swings for Game Pass.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if they pull a 2021 showcase where at the end they're like, and all of these titles are, maybe not all the titles.
What series?
Here's all the titles.
What series?
I don't think they're going to do that again though, because they did the like last year's event. They had like all these are coming out in the next 12 months, and then they didn't. So I think.
But I mean, you could still say when it comes out Game Pass day one. Like you could still say that even if it's coming out.
But I think they're probably going to pull back on the big promises.
Yeah, that's fair.
But what is there to do?
I think they'll say, huh?
But what like series is there to do to put all the games on Game Pass? Like they've pretty much gotten all of them at this point.
I don't think necessarily a series, but I think they could have, like maybe they say, okay, Red Dead Redemption 2 on Game Pass, or the new Yakuza game on Game Pass. They could do something, just a big game.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty certain that we're gonna see like one of the two big, like obviously Persona 3 is gonna be on Game Pass day one. That's a big get.
That would be, yeah.
I mean, that's guaranteed now at this point because it's been leaked or
Right,
not,
okay.
by themselves. Atlas did
Okay.
that. Like, it wasn't a reporter. Atlas themselves accidentally posted the trailer on Instagram. So,
Oh, yeah. That's
so that,
And also,
so
Atlas
you
has
were right.
Atlas has also given an open call on some sites for new job listings. So,
And there's a new Persona 5 game as well.
yeah. But also a couple of I just want to know if you guys think we're going to see Perfect Dark
No, not at all.
or State of Decay 3.
No, I don't see that. I think
No,
Perfect Dark
I don't know.
is in like turmoil right now. They have a lot of issues. I think it's very, very far away.
Yeah.
I think it's farther than like any other game they have right now. Because there's been so
And
much
I think
turmoil.
I think the same is true of State of Decay 3 as well. I think there's some
Yeah, I
there's
agree.
a lot going on at that studio. There's been reports,
Yeah,
so that's probably not soon either.
I agree. I think that's. I didn't put that on the list because I knew that was like so far away. I figured you would agree.
Yeah.
State of Decay though, yeah, I think it's very far away, but that one's probably easier to make than Perfect Dark, so that one can come out faster because they already have the
I think that's
foundation
probably
for it.
sooner.
Well, Jet Set Radio, I'm not Jet Set Radio. Perfect Dark is like we haven't had one since like 2005, and it was shit. So, it's one of those franchises like it's not a huge name anymore. It's like nostalgic for like us millennials that grew up with the Nintendo 64 one, and that's about it. So I'm curious like how much power, like marketing power it has. Like how popular is it still? You know what I mean?
I just had a thought, like, in terms of third-party stuff that we could see from EA, they could show Skate 4.
That'd be a good one. Yeah, I can see
Yeah?
that. That'd be cool.
I think there's potential for that, actually.
I mean,
Screw it, man. Let's get it down in writing. I think Skate 4 is going to be there.
okay. I associate Skate with Xbox. I feel like I played the Skate games on 360, so
Yeah?
so I can see that. Yeah, that'd be good.
All right.
Put it on Game Pass. That'd be awesome.
Yes, I
I
think
mean,
it's happening.
I mean, Microsoft.
well,
plays
not on
it-
Game. I don't think it'll be on Game Pass, but I think it'll be at the show.
Okay. I think Microsoft. I mean, they have a really good relationship with EA, I guess, because EA plays way better on Microsoft than PlayStation.
No, yeah, definitely. But I think in terms of Game Pass, right? I think if they say it's on Game Pass day one, that kind of undermines
Yeah.
their deal where because they've got their own service where stuff comes day one. They've got their EA Play on
Yeah,
PC.
yeah, it's true.
So yeah, historically it's been
Yeah.
they've had to wait like a year before they come at Game Pass.
Right. Because otherwise, because you have to still buy all their games on
Yeah.
Xbox. Yeah. All right. Is that it?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Cool. So I think we all agree it's probably gonna be a really good show. I'd be surprised if it's a disappointment. It might not be the best thing ever, but I think it's gonna be at least good.
I mean, obviously, it's not going to be the best thing ever. It's not Across the Spider-Verse.
But
Ha! I still have to mention it, Seb. Take that.
thanks for dragging the show out, Dory.
Yeah, that's right. I totally dragged the show out with that 5-second reference.
No, I actually no, that's my train of thought. Thanks.
Nice. We're gonna be talking about that next episode, by the way, when Mitch is here. But when Mitch is not here, and also if you couldn't tell from this episode, we had a lot to cover. So
Exactly. Next episode is gonna have Final Fantasy 16 in it. But other than that,
yes,
we're pretty free after that. Like, there's nothing really.
nice.
I mean, we can talk about the Xbox showcase, but
Yeah, for sure.
But
And the Ubisoft one as well.
and yeah, we got actually. You know what? Next episode is probably gonna be pretty stacked as well. 'Cause
Yeah.
This is June.
God damn it.
Once we get to like July, there's nothing really. That's when we can start.
Once
this
we've
on.
all forgotten about Spider-Verse, then we can talk about Spider-Verse.
That's
No,
right. When
no,
when the algorithm favors us not.
I definitely want to do Spider-Man next episode because it's still June and it's more
Yeah.
fresh in everybody's mind. So, all right. So yeah, next week. And I keep saying next week. Next episode, we're gonna talk about Final Fantasy 16, of course, and then we'll go from there, and probably Spider-Man. And yeah, thanks for watching. You all have a good night. Happy Pride Month, and happy gaming month. So, Especially
Happy Pride Month,
Happy Pride Month.
gamers.
Yep.
That's spelled Gaymeers. That's why it's spelled like that, everybody. I don't know if you knew.
Yep.
Gaming was always gay. It's right in the name. I mean, there's no confusion here. All right, bye.
Bye.